Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler is here. The fish tank broke again. It's broken again.
It's just a
It's
reservoir.
so hard. It's so hard. We don't know what we're doing. And I got to tell you, who would have known that letting something sit in your office is so hard?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
it's a GD miniature ocean.
But what are we supposed to do?
ecosystem.
I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. Like, I just let it sit. They're like, put water in it, it'll be fine. So we put water in it, and it's broken.
It's
You gotta
not fine,
And they're
yeah.
like, you got to turn the dial. It's not a dial. It's a PVC pipe that I feel like in any direction, 1 degree opens a manhole of water pouring in, or suction, or it's too complicated.
The mung's back.
Yeah, the mung's back. We got all the mung. We've only had one of the fish. The only fish in there, I think we have one fish that's one of our original fish, and he's the little speckle fish with the bright red stoner eyeballs. He's hanging on for dear life, that poor thing.
He's been through a lot.
The shrimp are good.
Well,
they're stronger
they're
than ever.
rodents, right?
Yeah,
or they're
they're
basically like
cockroaches.
cockroaches, yeah.
They're the cockroaches
They're
of the
waiting
sea.
for
Yeah.
this poor little stoner fish with the red eyeballs to die, and he's just back there yakking and coughing and barely hanging, but he's still there, and then we still have our big, I think we have a blue tang or a, what is that, a dory fish. And that thing's mean as
It
hell.
scrapes its face all over the rock.
Yeah, it's got problems. It whacks its head against the rocks. Like, it's like, I'm crazy.
It's trying to kill itself.
Yeah, I'm not right in the head, man.
Um,
That's my impression of our fish. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Before we start, I want to let you guys know about an app we're on. It's the Pod TV app. If you want to watch our show, just download the Pod TV app, and we're on there, and a bunch of other podcasts that also have video feeds are on there.
Indeed.
And you can check them out. Just search Pod TV in your app store.
There you go.
Do you want to start?
Sure. Get the button here, pop that up, and let's roll. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by StreamlineFlorida.com. If you're looking to refi or get a mortgage, use the Streamline team. Brian Zymel and his team are going to make it happen. And we've had hundreds and hundreds of BDMs refi and use or get their mortgage through Streamline, and they've all had a great experience.
Yeah, they really have.
And they really are a good company. So on the line with us,
We don't care what you've heard. They really are. That's what it sounded like. Sorry.
No. I'm saying that is because it's hard nowadays to find people who care about their work
This
and
seems
their
to
job.
be a theme for you and I about the last month. We've
And they do care, and just talk to anybody who's used them. I mean,
their slogan should be Streamline Mortgage Solutions. We might care a little too much.
yeah.
We care more than most people do.
Only good recommendations from all our BDMs.
Indeed.
Kerstrima, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you?
Good. So
I didn't expect you to pop up on old Weird Job Wednesday. Don't you have your own bit? Wow, ego much.
yeah, you're double dipping.
Wow, this lady's
Turning
got.
into
Fun.
EJ.
Yeah, you gotta.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. You'd have to gain 1 million pounds.
Oh.
So, Kerstrima, what is your weird job?
So I just resigned from a job, and I've been wanting to call and talk to you guys about it because it's pretty interesting. But I just quit, so I don't.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to say names.
You're the head of our Homeland Security, right?
Oh my goodness! No, I was a juvenile justice specialist for 4 years. That means I was basically a baby probation officer.
That's what
like
my
a little
mom
kid
did.
probation officer.
My mom did that.
I know.
Yeah. That is a really, that's a difficult and
my heart goes out to people because you see some bad stuff, but you're trying to do a lot of good with a lot of these young kids, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I started with a friend of mine. Well, we became friends. We started on the same day. And she and I were both, like, bright-eyed, like, let's do some good. And then you start realizing that when you work for the government, unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't really go down. You have these people that work there forever, like the lifers, and they don't have the same ideals and the same care that you do, because a lot of times people get comfortable.
Yes.
And like Tom and you've joked about that, the government job. Yeah, there are people that just do the bare minimum. They don't care.
They'll never be fired. They do not care.
Yeah.
They miserable. They maybe if they're not so much miserable, it's just they're like, this is going to be my entire. I'm going to do the bare minimum.
If you were miserable, it'd be extremely hard for you to want to do good for people in a job where you are trying to serve, other people, other families, potentially people that have problems and are trying to correct their way, right?
I don't even really blame them as much, because they're like, no matter what kind of job I do, I will always make the same money. I'm going to get my 1% pay increase a year every 5 years or whatever. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get the
5%, or what is it, 0.5%, 3% raise?
There's no moving up. There's no. This
how
is
did it. How did you get in? How did you fall into doing that job?
Well, I had been a teacher. I graduated with my bachelor's, and I could not find a teaching job in Oklahoma. And I found out really quickly that all the coaches, because football is huge here for high school, it's different than where I grew up in Florida. So I couldn't find a job teaching because I'm a history teacher. All the history teachers were men who coach football. Yep. I was like, I got to think outside my box here.
Well, it is Florida.
It is proven that most men know a tad more about history than ladies do.
I'm sure
they wrote the history.
Yeah, we wrote the history.
I'd love to hear Oklahoma high school football coach's version of United States history.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. I bet it's so accurate. And tolerant.
But
oh, my.
Also, there's no way he knows anything about history, right? Like, he knows. He'll hand out
remember
the homework.
cartoon? Do you guys remember the cartoon home movies that was on Comedy Central?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was like that weird.
Yeah, it was the weird squiggle
art.
drawing,
Yeah.
but the way that they drew. Well, is it F. John Benjamin? Who's the guy that does the voice of Bob from Bob's Burgers?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that I got the name right or similar, but he used to do a character of a gym coach that was also the history teacher, I think, on this whole movie show.
Yeah.
And it is the quintessential tiny shorts, doesn't know anything, the bravado, always inappropriate.
It's great.
It's great.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So, Kastrima.
H. John Benjamin. Thank you. H. John Benjamin.
Now, working with juveniles that maybe have issues or going through the system or been incarcerated or whatever.
Had stories, man.
It seems It seems like the worst job in the world to me, because now I understand there needs to be people that do this and care, because that's how it helps our society. And man, I give it up to them. They should get paid way more. And by the way, it would only help us all. Like, a lot of these problems can be stopped before their life just is completely messed up and they're just in and out of the system forever, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now we just have lost young people that are in our society that turn to crime and affect us all. But no, we won't fix that problem. We'll just keep putting people who get paid $30,000 a year to try to deal with troubled teens.
Yeah.
Then a lot of them have mental issues that they need therapy and medication.
Yes.
The whole family needs it.
Yes,
Yeah, the
exactly.
whole family, not just the child, because that child's coming from an environment that is horrendous a lot of times. And sometimes they come from a great environment and you're like, what happened here? And a lot of times that's going to be your sex offenders. They make straight A's. The parents are very strict usually. It's like really weird. It's not. And then there's some kids that, one of the things that bothered me is I would have like a kid that was in like the gang lifestyle, and because his parents were not supporting him, and so he was like 15 and doing that, and my boss would say things like, oh, we'll see him in the paper, he'll end up in prison. And it appalled me. I was like, how can you say that? Like, about somebody that, you know, he's
they've
a
already
child.
given up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They give up on these kids.
Not to play devil's advocate, but maybe he meant as a superstar front page of entertainment.
Yeah, she was very negative, and the upper people, some of them were good, but a lot of them were pretty negative.
Yeah.
And it is a hard job because the worst part for me was reading police reports that are icky. I don't like to see that, but you have to understand the kid. And then I was thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to sit in a room with this kid knowing he did this, but they really are all kids. And then you realize, oh, this happened, and this happened, and that's why he's acting out. Let's get him some help. So it was a good job. I really, but like Tom said, you can't move up, and I'm not all about making a lot of money, but I wanted to be happy, and I just wasn't. I did a lot of good, I think, though, for the ones that I could help, and I think the kids would say that about me. But I just couldn't deal with the
We have some of the children here that you affected. We didn't want to tell you this, and I just wanted to let you know that we pre-screened each one of them, and you are wrong. They had nothing but horrible things to say about you and what you did. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure you did a lot. Of course you did a lot of good for them.
So this is why it would dishearten me, and I think this is why most people give up. Because let me run through a scenario I imagine happens or in this kind of field all the time, where you meet with a kid, right? And he got in trouble for drugs, burglary, whatever it is. He's got in the wrong group of people. And you see him, and you're like, man, this is like a 15-year-old. I see the baby inside him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see 15-year-old.
Not if he's a boy, you idiot.
No, but I'm saying like,
That doesn't happen.
You look at some like 15-year-old kid that's like he wants to play like he's hard and he's like that he's tough, and you're like, man, you're just a kid inside. But the environment has forced them to act
Grow
like
up
this
a little quicker.
And the trauma, my God, you start digging any deep, and you're like, this person was traumatized horribly as a kid or whatever. So then you see, and then like, and maybe he's remorseful and he wants to like help him, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna help this kid, right? I'm gonna put extra effort. So you go beyond your normal pay, which is horrible to begin with, and you go and do a little extra because you care about human beings. Because people get into these positions because they care about human beings.
Yeah.
Social workers, people that do this work, they start caring. I believe everybody's like, you get in this job because you care, right? And the care gets beat out of you because of this. Yeah. Right, you go in there, and then you try to help him. You go above and beyond. You check in on him. He's trying to get his life back, and he's doing his program, and you're like, all right, he's doing the program, and then the parents aren't really interested, and then all of a sudden you see like the parents completely stop contacting him or take him out of the program, or they screw it up, and then there's no money in the system to help him. He ends up back in jail, and then you're just like, oh my God, it's just
back in that house. Yeah, back in the same house.
And then it must be like, well, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
Like he's in
a vicious cycle.
He's in a horrible environment. The people that are raising this person, they're traumatized. They're him grown up.
Well, some of the stories I would hear from my mom would be exactly what you're saying, except it would be the people in charge, like let's say parents. Because the kid is getting help, it's almost like they are so selfish that they almost want to take that kid and drag him back down to where they are.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like they're losing their manipulative point. They're losing something they can manipulate for their own good, and they don't want to see that happen.
And then there's mental illness sometimes, extreme poverty, and then you're like, oh my God, it seems like you can't even look at it because you're like, this is never. And then there's another one. There's just a person like him right behind him, and I can't understand how someone does this.
What was your breaking point, if you don't mind me asking? Was there a specific point that you hit, or how long did you end up doing this before you decided that's just time for a change?
Well, you guys know I got sick. So when I was, I almost died. So at that point, I just looked at my husband and I was like, because my boss was. Never in 4 years did she ever say, I hope you feel better, never said anything like that. Like, she just didn't like me. And I said, I can't go back to that office environment and live with this toxicity. It was very gossipy. Anyway, but I wanted to tell you guys when Tom was speaking about...
I'm trying to think if Tom has ever said he hopes any of us feel better.
just very cold
Yeah,
environment.
no,
You
I
could tell
know.
She hated the kids.
Like,
She
would your
hated
boss
them.
walk in the mornings and just give a very cold yo, and then
No.
Oh, you know what? You know what?
Didn't even get a yo.
Be grateful for what you get.
Appreciate the yo.
Appreciate
Yeah,
the
you know
yo.
what?
Write
I
that down.
appreciate the yo.
Sew that on a blanket. Frame it.
But what it really comes down to, beyond all the money you're going to throw at it, beyond the parents, beyond everything, it comes down to something that either the kid has or doesn't have. And Sam has it, and I have it. And it's when you go through adverse experiences and you are resilient and you can overcome it, pick yourself up and move on. And that comes down to it. You either have resiliency
I'm a
or
broken
you don't.
woman, Christina.
Yeah.
A lot of therapy.
But you got resilience
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah,
if you
you
don't
overcame it.
yeah, I mean, because some people, they get into addiction and they get into a lot of other problems that just make it worse, and then
Yeah.
it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Now, was there anything at all redeeming about this job? Because for me, I would just focus on the failure, and not even my personal failure, but like the system, the parental failure, all this failures.
Man, that'd be bad.
And
for
then
you.
I'll just be like, everybody's screwed. I can't,
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Nothing
God, when
matters,
you start to
yeah.
open it up like that, it's overwhelming.
Was there
man.
anybody that you work with and then they actually they did it
And you're like,
they're
"We-
it
all right."
worked,
We
it
did it.
worked.
Yeah, there were quite a few, but you learn to celebrate small victories. Like, a big deal is for a kid to get their GED.
Oh yeah.
Like, if I can get them through
that's
high
awesome.
school, great, So I took this one kid. He refused to go to school. They basically pushed him through middle school. They were like, we don't want him. And he was, like, old enough to drive, going in to be in middle or a freshman or something. I don't remember. But he was really, really bad at school. And I tried to help him, and he's like, I just want to take my GED. I'm like, it's not as easy as you think, but okay, we'll go take it. So he studies for it. I go take him, passes it the first time. Didn't pass the 7th grade, but could get his GED. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So he's smart, but maybe just
Yeah.
school or sitting in a desk isn't his
Right,
correct way of
right.
learning. I think there are going to be a lot of kids, not conventional, just regular elementary school stuff. I'd like to think that most kids can stay in that form of schooling at least until they're, of age to leave that. But I don't think everybody
Yeah.
has to go to college. I do think it's important for
No.
you to get through high school. Yeah, I think that's
or
important.
go learn a trade or something.
Sure.
But I did want to tell you guys something funny. So you have to be on call a lot of times when you work in that field. Like, a DHS worker would do the same thing. And they call you, and I would get calls a lot from law enforcement. And I got one of the last calls I got was late at night, and this sheriff's deputy, called me and said, "Ma'am, I've got a juvenile that's out of control. He won't mind, he won't listen, he won't come inside, and Grandma is at her wit's end." And I said, okay, well, what did he do? Because to get a child, they always want to get them locked up. The cops are like, oh, he's out of control, put him away. Well, the judge isn't going to do that for a kid unless they do something really egregious.
Right.
So I said, well, what did the child do? What's going on? Are there visible marks? This and that. He said, well, he threw a piece of cheese and hit his grandma with it.
Sorry.
The fact that you're doing the accent with
accent
it
does
is
make it
so
better.
good. This is such a good character. He threw a piece of cheese at his grandma. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Is this a Florida story?
Yeah, lock him up because he
No.
threw a slice of cheese at Grandma.
I was going to say, that sounds very Florida, although cheese melts.
Oklahoma,
Yeah,
right?
Oklahoma, man.
It is Oklahoma.
Oklahoma cheese
But, yeah.
throwers.
Yeah, but
Yep.
on the other end of it,
God, I'd
too,
love to have thrown a piece of cheese at my grandma.
I've
I didn't know what to say.
I've experienced this. I've seen this.
He probably did it for a TikTok video because they do that thing where you throw the
Oh,
piece of cheese at
Oh,
the baby
yeah.
to stop him from crying.
Yeah. Stop whining, grandma.
Yeah.
There are some teens that go through. I can only equate it to it's a chemical imbalance, because it is. It's like all these chemicals are being put into your body at puberty, and it's throwing your system off. And I remember I've seeing people deal with teenagers, and not in like a horrible household, but just went crazy and would not like sneak out all the time, constantly getting in trouble, not going to school, and it's like, all right, it's not really, this is not a parental problem per se. This person's having some sort of problem. But I remember back then it wasn't like the therapy and all the stuff, they were just like, he's being bad or she's
Right.
being bad. And we got to understand, like, this
Yeah,
is...
you
And
kind of.
sometimes there's something going on with them that they might not even realize.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
get them some help instead of just being like,
Yeah.
they're a bad kid.
When people have chemical imbalances, they can't help themselves. They don't know what they're even doing. They're like they think
Right.
they're doing the right
They're
thing
still
or whatever.
children. Like, they
Yeah.
haven't fully
Yeah.
developed their brains yet.
And so
Yeah, they're impulse control, all
Yeah,
that.
it's
May
Oh,
does it.
okay.
I see. You know, I see her ride waves. You know, and sometimes she's a complete a-hole. You know, and it's just completely fatoots. Out of control.
I've seen parents have to tie their kids to a chair because they're freaking out and like trying to destroy the house. Like they're, and then I saw what happened. They're a perfectly fine adult now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like that
Yeah.
teenage years, and then
Weird, man.
And then what happens is they screw up their life because they get up in jail, and then all of a sudden they got a charge on their record, and that's all the system. Our system's horrible.
It is.
And so it's like
It is.
it's just you go in and out, and then these kids give up because no one's helping them, and it's like, oh God, it's so sad. And it's like, man, why don't we help this problem as a society? Like, I know we can move money from somewhere and put more money into helping people with mental illness, helping people in these scenarios get past this. Like, just
Yeah.
maybe if you got them past this and they didn't fall into in the system, they can get out and then
Well,
start
kinda
paying
like-
taxes back into the system.
But kind of like what Christina said, it would have to get to a point where, let's say, the cop that's calling her would be willing to reason with the kid a little bit more rather than just wanting to lock him up. The chat room
Some
brought
of
up a
them
good.
will. Some of them will.
but I don't even
Oh, I'm
blame.
sure there's definitely
They're
good ones
over-
out there. Yeah, they're overworked. They're part of the problem,
and
the
they're
system
like-
problem too.
I'm not paid to be a mental health expert or a social worker or whatever, and there's no money for anybody. So it's like, I'm paid to be a cop. I'm going to lock them up. And they probably eventually give up too because they're just like,
Oh, yeah.
I complain
It
about
goes
this.
on down the line.
Then I got to help my family. I just got to do my job, lock them up. And so it's like, man, what are we doing?
Wait, don't yell to lock them up. We went through that already. Yeah,
You know, you were Mr. Positivity this morning, and now it just all went downhill.
Yeah,
You
now
started
it's-
talking about the system.
So,
You know, the chat room brought up an excellent point, though. They wanted to know, did the boy that in question, was he throwing a small piece of cheese or was he throwing
Like
a
a
wheel?
block of cheese.
Like a wheel of cheese.
I believe it was sliced, a Kraft sliced floppy.
Kraft
See,
slice.
if it's floppy cheese, I don't
Yeah,
feel like there's
that's
a
not even an
problem
assault
here.
at
I
that
feel like
point.
that grandma's just
It
trying.
wasn't like she was injured, no.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like she's just
No.
trying to get this kid some heat.
and also on the other end of this, like,
What a pussy grandma.
these kids are a bad and a mess. And then if you saw them, they're Catch Me Outside, screaming Maury Povich. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she's
and then you
okay.
like slap their
I
faces.
feel bad for that girl.
Bad Barbie's
No, I know.
fine. She's
This is
fine.
traumatizing.
Bad baby.
She
No,
is.
bad babe, whatever. She's rich.
It is, but it's
Well, she came out basically saying the same thing, is that she was branded this way, so now she's like, well, I might as well make money off of it because no one's
Yeah.
going to give me a chance otherwise.
But when you see
Yeah.
the way they act, it makes you mad. You're like, throw them in jail because you're like, what are you acting like? You're you're doing all these horrible things and then just literally saying "f you" to anybody.
Oh,
who's
yeah, like the kids are like,
Oh,
I do it out
yeah.
loud. Yeah. All right.
I'm a baby.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a bad baby. Yeah, all
Yeah.
those kids,
And
you
then
look
you-
at them,
Yeah.
you're like, lock them up. I'm with
That's
it.
what
Yeah,
happens.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so here's the thing.
That's the cliche,
it's,
right?
It's,
Yeah.
it's extremely complicated. We need to throw money at a society. We got to have Kastrima left because she couldn't take it anymore.
couldn't take it anymore.
And guess what? let me ask you, how much did you get paid? Were you making $180,000 a year?
Yeah.
Oh man, I started out making $30,000 a year,
Oh.
and I was able to move up to level 2. And the only other move I could have made would have been lateral. So I ended up making 37 something at the end, but it wouldn't have ever changed.
Ooh,
And I don't,
ooh la
like
la.
I said, I'm not. I don't care. I mean, we don't have kids, so it's not like I'm trying to support a family here. I mean, we just want to live and be happy. And
What are you going to do now?
You can't live off that.
I
Go
know.
buy a house in Florida. The cheapest house is $350,000.
We
I mean,
tried.
that's-
Oh, and it's a
Right.
dump.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's
I
a
mean,
dump.
look what's out there. How expensive everything is getting, and then it's like
crazy.
Nobody wants to work for that a hard ass job.
Especially, you know what? I would even take, now hold on, not everybody's going to agree with me, but I would even take like a hard physical labor job over her job because mentally,
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
take it because, like, when Andrea was writing news stories for Wesh, it reached a point with the Casey Anthony case where she would come home in tears and just say, you know what, I know this sounds really weird, but I can't read this. I can't write this anymore. I'm over this. This is so sad. And all I'm doing is feeding my brain these horrible stories every day. And I'm like, I get it. It's bad.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It's
How
bad.
how many kids can you see in horrible conditions?
And you can't help them.
Ruin their lives. You know, like over
and you're
they're like,
limited.
I'm just gonna see this again. 30,000. It's like not worth
Yeah.
it. You're like, get me the hell out of here.
And some people can turn it off, and I can't turn it off. And I've learned that if you don't care a little bit at home, like with Andrea coming home, she's a wonderful person. She cares about people.
She does.
She, of course, is going to bring that home a little bit, but it comes a point where you have to learn how to shut it off at home, and that's hard.
And guess what?
I came home crying many nights.
Yeah,
The
you can't.
people-
You can't to ask people to turn that off because you're dealing with a child and you're trying to get them out of a bad home. Yeah, come on.
Guess what? The people that can turn it off, they don't care.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, there's the cycle.
And then these people don't get help.
If you're the
These
best,
kids just,
if you're the best at doing this type of job, and you can come home and like a switch, turn it off, you're a superhero. Because you're able to, like,
Absolutely.
I'm sure there is a couple, some people that are good at it, they can compartmentalize it, but it weighs so heavy on you.
No, they just turn it off all the time, even at work. They don't care. That's how they get through it and that's how who ends up in these jobs as people that don't care because they're the only ones that can get through it. And then that's broken because now you have no one who cares, and the system gets.
So
broken
what do you want to do now? Are you in a position now where you feel like you want to shoot for something you've always wanted to do, or are you going to take it easy for a little while and still heal up?
Well, I am. I'm feeling great. We're actually
Good.
getting ready to move.
Hey,
Excuse me,
congrats!
sorry, allergies today. Yeah, we're going to move to Illinois. So if there's any Tom and Dan BDMs out there,
You know what? We don't even have one in Illinois.
Yeah, nowhere even close.
Oh.
Yeah, not even
I
around there.
never
Well,
tried.
yeah.
Okay.
We only have 4, and right now it's New York, Texas, Florida, Georgia. That's all we got.
Yeah, we're skewing us,
Yeah,
you know.
But hopefully next month we're skewing for 7 members. Maybe you can be one of those.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe getting a certification. I'm not going back to school. Heck no, I'm not doing that. But I might get a certification.
Techno? You're going to start a techno band?
Well,
So I'm kind of like, Dan, you said it. I'm just going to take it easy a little bit and play housewife for a couple months and see what opportunities are out there.
Why don't you
And
get an
I'll keep in touch with
OnlyFans?
y'all, so.
Hey,
If I can make some money, I'm all ears. I need to.
hey, if you're all ears, then
Well,
People are into that. People are into that.
yeah.
I like-
Onlyears.com.
I like
actually.
women with big
Oh,
ears.
yeah, I can mush my ear into some cake or something.
Well,
All right.
there's something for everybody. Yeah. Send me the link.
Tom and I were envisioning that. That's why you heard that pause. Normally we don't pause. You're like, put cake in her ear.
Also, I heard they're hiring out there, so I think
Yeah.
you're good.
Everybody.
My
apparently.
God.
I hear
Everybody.
there's jobs
Yeah,
available.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
anybody wants them,
I mean,
Just,
I've been
they're
getting offers. I've been getting job offers like crazy.
I'm not even joking. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, all right, Krishima, we'll talk to you later.
All right, love you guys.
All right,
right,
love you
see
too,
ya.
Mama. Be good. Take care.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. So we just got some word.
We got an update.
from Tracy, correct?
Yes, Tracy Claus in our
And
chat.
she follows Jan and Jason on their adventures, and you could follow them on social media.
StartLivingLucky.com.
Yep. And we got word that they already gave up on their first episode because it was too hot.
We saw them. We saw them Thursday.
Yes, and they were gonna do a test run this past weekend.
Okay.
To just try it out the first time because
Sure.
they just bought it literally like days before
we
they
saw
came
it
over.
like a couple hours old.
And I remember when I was sitting there, and Jason was like, "Oh, you could add an AC in the back." He was telling me how to do it, but it wasn't.
Right.
But it wasn't just like you could buy one. You had to cut a hole and do, So
Yeah.
it was going to take more than just you buy one and you put it in. He's going to have to do some
He wants
work.
to do like some, and he also they don't have a lot of space and they want to keep it efficient. You know.
But they kept saying, but you got in. We opened the top flap, and it's cool in there. The breeze comes through. I'm like, nah. Like I was in my mind, and I said it to them, even on the show. I think I was like, that no AC is gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
you did
I was
say
like, dude,
that.
it's hot.
You know what it reminds
Have
me
you
of?
been outside?
It reminds me of when I go into a Marshall's or a Ross dressing room with a pair of shorts that I know are too small or know that they are the exact size and dimensions of my muffin.
Yeah.
That I'll put them on, right, and they fit. And my wife will be like, what do you think? And I'm standing and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, it'll work. You see what I'm saying? Like, it'll work.
You justify.
Yeah. It'll work.
I do the. Yeah.
It will work. You're right. I could put those on and I could walk around and have a day in those tiny shorts that are literally corseting my muffin.
Yeah, they'll cover my genitals.
They will cover my genitals. But is it ideal? And
No.
will it not drive me insane? No, it will drive me insane.
And will you punt them in the
and
trash?
I'll punt them in the
Yeah.
trash. It's like you're in there. It's like, oh, this will work. This will work. This will work is not what you're looking
it's
for.
Like it's cool. Like it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's
cool.
okay. It's all right. You don't want. It's
I'm like,
all right.
nah. Also, this goes into, and I do this all the time. Know who you are, and I'll explain.
Oh God, the dog was in here barking.
What do you mean?
Apparently they were in there trying to sleep, and Tater the dog was barking out the window at a strayed cat or something.
Oh, they
It was loud.
they put their dog in there with
What
them.
are you gonna tie it to the thing and let it sleep outside?
He said a stray dog tried getting in their camper because they left the door open at night.
You
They
would
were
have
so
to leave
hot,
the
they
door
left
open.
the door.
Yeah, if you don't
This
leave
is
the
a
door open, you're
nightmare.
gonna bake in your own bad breath.
And then you're gonna get mosquitoes.
Oh, in a tent when you do this in a tent.
I'm gonna buy
A
that
tent,
thing
actually,
for
a tent.
$2,000.
Oh my God! Did you see that? A turd fly flew in my mouth and out of my mouth at the same time. Like I was talking and I felt it touch my duodenum. It touched my duodenum. Is that on camera? It's probably on camera.
Might be.
And then it
went-
flew out like
see that?
the Green
my
Mile
God.
beam.
Yeah, it did. It went. It like tapped the back of my throat, and for a split second, I was gonna barf.
One day we're gonna be like, I feel like turd flies like the Green Mile.
Candyman?
Yeah.
I don't want to be Michael Clark Duncan. I want to be the guy that dates Stoddard.
So.
Courtney Stoddard. What's her name? Courtey Stodden?
Oh, yeah.
Stoddard?
What is that? Is that still happening? That
don't
was
know.
yeah. You gotta,
if
don't
you're-
put that on the internet, bro.
No, she got bullied by old.
They got bullied.
You can't bully that guy. That guy's a weirdo.
No. Courtney goes by they, them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
That's
fair.
the pronouns.
That's fair. If she goes by they. But see, you got to. Okay, that one right there is hard because I think a bunch of people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think we need a different one so I know the difference. Because when you say them or they got bullied, if you'd have said them got bullied, I'd be like, well, what are you, some short dumb redneck?
Yeah. There is,
Them got bullied.
You're right, because I don't like.
Did you say?
Again,
Yeah, I'm not
whatever,
trying to
I'll
be.
say whatever.
Yeah, I'll say whatever.
I know you're not. I'm
What
just
they
trying
say,
to correct you.
they
so
got
you know.
bullied,
It's
and
confusing,
I
it's
thought you
confusing.
meant Courtney and the guy, the old man that dated her. And I was like, well,
He
F
should
that
have
guy.
been. Yeah, he should have been
Do you
bullied.
see where I fell into the
There
trap?
needs to
Okay.
be something. Yeah, it just gets confusing.
They
It's
plus?
it's
They
who's on first.
How about they plus? Or
Yeah, something. Anyway,
yeah, you need something.
that'll get
We'll get there.
figured out.
Yeah, we'll get there. But anyway, yeah, for her, she was dating the guy, right? And he was in Green Mile. The
Yes.
old
They
man.
were married.
Yeah, he was the actor. Yeah.
And
Her
then
parents married her off or their parents married them off at 16 to
And
that
then
old man
she
when he
got-
was like in his 50s.
And then she got bullied by John Legend's
Yep.
wife,
Tegan.
Chrissy Teigen.
Yep.
And then she
They tried to get it canceled.
released all the
Yeah.
text messages of her. Like, apparently Chrissy Teigen would just message people and be like
She
her
was
should be like, I
terrible.
hope you die.
Yeah, to a teenager.
Like in the middle of the night, you're married to John Legend and you're rich. Don't you have more fun things to do?
People are nuts, bro.
That's
Yeah,
a nuts
they
thing
are.
to do. Like, look, if I'm
It's
if I'm Chrissy Teigen, I'm a rich
Yeah,
supermodel,
I
right?
have
She's
no-
a rich supermodel. The last thing I'm gonna do is message somebody in the middle of the night and be like, I hope
child.
I hope
Why?
you die.
Yeah, well, what's in it for you? I'm always like, just astounded by people's actions because I'm like, what's in it for you?
Yeah, why'd you
Like,
do that?
Why? Like, I understand it. Like, you're into
Did she
yourself.
attack
Do
you? Did
what's-
she hurt you somehow? I can see if it's a retaliation too.
I don't know. I've
If
stopped.
it's a retaliation, why am I even talking about
Yeah,
this?
it's bad.
I stopped trying to figure it out. But back to Jen and Jason giving up their dream.
They're basically Orlando's John Legend and Chrissy Teigen.
So this is not going to work without an AC. And
Let's buy him an AC and sponsor it, dude. Let's sponsor
I'm
it.
afraid
we can get Gannon the Magic Man to put it in too. He's fast.
I'm afraid this is the beginning of the end.
Well, we can buy that camper quick then,
No,
because
that's
I'm in the market.
because now I'm switching.
I'm in the market.
Yeah. Let's just like be like, we'll buy it for half the cost of what they paid.
I'm in the market.
Now, is that That seems kind of like a D-head thing to do.
No.
They need to get rid of it.
Yeah, they need the money. They need the money, and we're,
Here, okay, so
you got two money carrying camping daddies ready to scoop that thing up.
is Jana and Jason, are they too positive? Follow me here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, are they Tupac fans?
No.
And I was going to go,
Well, I know
what?
that. I know
Jason
Jana.
is a little
Thug
more,
life.
he's a little more Biggie, though. He's a little more East Coast.
So if you, and it's great to be positive and great to be a positive person, and every time they come here, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this makes me feel good. And people want positivity, and they want to be hopeful, and they want to like feel good, and like they were like, they want to.
Well, Jason,
they don't want to give up.
Jason and Jana are completely authentic with their positivity because they're not saying life isn't hard, and they're not saying things will not be difficult.
Yeah.
What they are saying is, we're here for a good time, and we're going to do our best to enjoy this while we're here, kind of a thing, right?
Let's keep a good mindset while going through a bad time.
Yeah.
Because most people don't do that. I don't do that.
Hold on. Look on the bright side. Write that down.
Okay.
Right. Look on the bright side. Meaning, look on the sunnier side, not the darker side of the moon. Pink Floyd.
But what happens, though, is they pushed through not having an AC.
They Tony Palmiotti did.
Because
What I mean is they bought this thing way too fast.
But
They went too fast on this.
Also, they were like, oh, it'll be fine with no AC, but they should have known that
They went too fast.
They can't handle the no AC because also
They could have gone tent first.
Well, according to our source, Tracy, they did purchase the AC. It just did not come in time, and they decided to go camping this weekend before the AC got.
that's
like
they should have known.
Yeah,
like
You gotta
this.
wait. You gotta wait
till
for
all
that
your
AC.
parts came in
Yeah.
before you got excited. You
And-
went off half cocked.
Yeah.
And like, I would understand the guys that just put on my roof, right? They can go camping with no AC because
Yeah.
they
Right, they've
are tough.
acclimated, yeah.
They are the toughest humans I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they work
They have the hands of Ninja Turtles.
in the most extreme conditions,
Yeah.
hot on
Yeah,
the roof,
yeah.
with the hot tar. Everything's hot.
That camper would be like a
Yeah.
ABC beer cooler
Yeah,
to
yeah.
them.
So if they told me like, "Hey, I'm going camping," I'll be like, "Oh yeah,
Have fun.
it's breezy. Like it'll be way better than what you're going through now." Jan and Jason, they're not roofers, all right? They've done all right for themselves. They have a nice house, and they live
With air conditioning.
with air conditioning, just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
We're not used to no air conditioning. We softened ourselves. We can't do it anymore. I told my wife this. I was like, she suggested we try to go camping.
Aren't you guys doing that for your big 40th?
Yeah, but that's at least in
No.
February.
Well, that's a novelty trip.
But yeah.
I'm doing that one too.
I didn't
How many
suggest
days?
that.
How many days you guys
It's
going
like
to be out
4,
there?
right? 3?
No,
Ooh.
it's 2 nights of camping.
I'm doing that one, right?
3
I think
days.
I am.
Yeah.
Ooh.
With the kids, right?
Yeah, but we're not doing the 22-mile bring your own stuff.
That's
We're
what
do-
Andrea said.
We're doing
Andrea's making Maisie do the first 22 alone.
Yeah,
Just stick her in the canoe, just push it down the.
we're doing the whole thing where they bring your stuff to a
Good.
place
Good, thank
and then
God.
you do a small little canoe. Yeah. We're not doing what we used to do. Yeah. I wouldn't do that with it. Now, I know at least I know I'm not.
My back can't handle it.
I can't set myself up for failure because it's going to be 100% failure. But good for Jan and Jason for at
Toughing
least
it out.
taking the chance.
Well, I think that
they didn't really tough it out. They gave up.
I think this
They
is.
drove
I don't
home.
think this is the end, right? And I'm a weirdo in that, like, when I'm sweaty, like, I've always been I like it hot. I can remember back, and what got me thinking about this is Maisie's been going to these day camps.
You do
during-
like it hot.
I like it hot, and when it's like at Wakaiba Youth Camp, the one here in town, when I used to stay there. Our cabin would get and I'd get sweaty. And for some reason, I can sleep well when my entire body is warm, like a small little, like a little war dog.
like a little old
like
man.
a little old war dog.
yeah. That's what. Yeah. Like my pop liked it
hot.
hot.
Yeah,
He slept in his hot ass
I
house.
like it hot
And I was
as
like, God
hell."
damn, Pop. Why?
Andrea puts the air down. Like last night, she had the air down like 76. I'm like, I am freezing.
76? It is
I go,
hot.
my feet are literally, they're blue.
I had mine on 69 and 2 fans on, and I was still hot.
69.
69,
Oh
baby.
my
Hold on.
God!
And I
What's
was
your
still
power
hot.
bill?
It's not that bad, but my bedroom is all the way on the opposite side of my air conditioning
69.
unit.
Yeah, that's
That
too
was
cold.
still
That
hot.
is cold. I couldn't sleep like that. I sleep with 3 blankets. I sleep a sheet, a blanket, a magic blanket, like one of those microfiber blankets on my feet.
Is that just an old man thing? Do old women? Because my Meemaw, her house is
Maybe
is
I'm
cool.
going through menopause.
No, I
no,
like
no,
it
my-
cool. I mean, like when I'm inside, but for whatever reason, I'm just saying the quality of my sleep. If I'm kind of sweaty or kind of
gotta be cold to
hot,
sleep.
I can fall like in a hot car. If I'm in a hot car with the windows down, I can fall asleep like a bum. Like, I can't. It's like
That's an old bum sleeping on the floor hot, and I'm like, what? Why do you got so
it's
many blankets?
comfortable. Yeah, if I can get my body to the right temperature, it's almost like my body's like, oh yeah, this is good, yeah. And then I'm out.
Okay, let's talk about where homeless people choose to sleep sometimes because
Well, you know what I think
They
is
don't got
weird?
a lot of options.
You know what I think
That's
is weird
true,
is
that's
that they
true.
sleep where we can see them. Hide yourself.
yeah.
Hide yourself.
That's what I was talking. Okay.
Why are you just like you're literally sleeping where I'm stepping? Right? That's weird.
There is a homeless guy.
I don't want to step on your hair.
And I know I feel bad. You know what? A blah blah blah. And just this.
We know you feel bad.
I can tell by the way he said blah blah blah.
Well, what is he supposed to do?
I gave
Get
him-
the man's name.
I gave him
make a new friend.
I gave him a yo.
you gave him an
What else did-
unfeeling yo. Is that what we call
And
it?
that's-
appreciate the yo.
Yeah, that's all I got. Anyway, so there's a guy, and he's not there all the time, but it's the same guy. and
Under
he's
the
there-
bridge over here.
He's there like, no.
Over by Kittinger Park. There's
Under
a
the
guy.
bridge is a good space to be, though.
Yeah, no,
if you're gonna
that's
be somewhere.
that's understandable. But this guy
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
is front of the BB&T Bank, which is next to my smoothie place I go
that's
to.
BB. His
at-
friend NT's not there.
And there's a Starbucks there and the little tiny shopping center with a cell phone repair shop, a smoothie place, my smoothie place I go to, and a BB&T Bank. And he sleeps in the morning in front of the BB&B Bank window on the sidewalk.
yeah.
And then I
Probably
see him-
harasses people at the ATM, right?
No,
No?
I think
Is it
I
for
never
s-
see him harassing people.
Okay.
He's asleep.
Is it better
with
to
a
be in
lot of
plain
blankets
view?
hot?
Maybe okay. I'm being serious with
Yeah,
with
but
talking
I
this
am
out.
without, like-
I think it's safer to be in plain view.
Oh, I bet.
Maybe
Yeah.
least likely to get
cameras, too.
fast stabbed. You
Yep.
don't want to
Yeah,
get
because
fast
I
stabbed.
think they get
People
robbed.
are mean to homeless people.
But and other
I'm
homeless
not-
people
I'm
rob
not mean to him.
other homeless
Oh,
people. and
yeah,
stuff
for
like that.
sure.
And so
What
anyway,
are you doing? You look like you're cocking back to punch me in the face.
Whoa,
Are you
bro.
all right? Oh man, you
I got
got
the
it this
corona
weekend.
this
You definitely
weekend.
got the
I
corona
was
from your
at a
friends.
house packed. I think you brought it up from
I
Miami.
could see it in your eyes. You got the Delta variant running through your veins.
Oh, is that why everyone's wearing masks again?
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
watching
yeah.
the news, but I was like, "Oh, the masks are back."
They are. They're back, baby.
All right.
We're
All right.
closed again.
Over there, they were like, "Have you heard about the Delta variant?" I was like, "No, but I've heard about Southwest." They don't like them. They don't like my jokes. They don't like them.
All right. Bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. You know, we're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, and you can find replays of all of our shows, live video on YouTube. Same name, just search Tom and Dan Live.
Let's do some voicemail.
Yes, sir. I got a bunch that came in over the weekend. People love
Partying this weekend.
Yeah, man. I was partying this weekend.
Dude,
you know?
the airport was packed. Like, I had not seen that bit because we dropped off the truck, and then I was like, wow. And I thought, like, oh, it's Friday, maybe a lot. And then I took the Grizz and his family, I dropped them off at the airport yesterday on Monday, and I thought, that's a Monday. You know, there's not a holiday weekend. It probably won't be that bad. Dude, it
Still
was
slammed.
to even get into it. Like, the drop-off area,
Yeah.
it was 3 cars deep. And I was like, wow. I haven't seen this. Like it's full on. People are going.
If you know our airport here in Orlando, our main airport, it's really nice, but its letters are MCO. I have never been to the very top of the parking garage. I don't know how many flights I've been out of there. I don't know, maybe 50,
Yeah.
let's say 30, something like that. Never been to the top of the parking garage. Went all the way up to the top, had to go to the secondary garage. It was completely full. I'd never even been up there.
Yeah,
I was going to parts of the airport I didn't even know exist.
Dude, it's packed.
Yeah, it's nutty. But let's jump into our voicemails. I'm trying to find ones that we have not done before. I got some old ones that I uncovered from an old file. So let's go with this one right here.
Hey guys, my name's Joey. I've called him before. Tom, you guys were talking about last week about this whole boat ordeal with your family. And I've got 2 stories. You can pick and choose which one you want to share. The first one, when I was 13 years old, it's vague, but I was not driving a motor vehicle yet. I was 13 or 14. We went diving down in West Palm, and I was not able to dive because of congestion issues. So my dad had me and my best friend following the flag on the boat. So they dropped down. It's like a 60-foot dive. It's maybe a mile offshore. And as soon as they go down, the seas just, the storm, the squall, I guess, came in and just rocked us. I couldn't see a single thing. 13 or 14 years old.
That would be absolutely terrifying. So I can only imagine that his dad and friends are under the ocean.
Yeah, diving.
They're diving. You're up top because you got congestion, so you can't dive.
Yeah.
That happened to me a couple times. You get a sinus infection, you don't want to go down. You'll hurt yourself real bad. And that would be terrifying.
The storm comes like a typical Florida afternoon.
I'd be looking around, Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
And then you don't you get blown off the dive flag, and your dad comes up. He's out at sea.
He continues.
You get lost out there.
Yeah, let's see what he says.
And the craziest thing is, so my he had a 26-foot boat at that time. We would, try to turn to follow the flag, and the wind would literally turn our boat full 360. I had no control over the vessel. So we, 45 minutes, an hour of fighting this, and I had considered just leaving them there because I could no longer find the flag. Fortunately, we had GPS back then.
You considered leaving your father?
Are you Sanctum?
So wait a
man for
minute.
himself.
Maybe Sanctum was right. You've been railing for years that in these scenarios, that's not what you do. Maybe
that's the instinct.
Maybe your instinct is to kill your own father.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe we got this wrong for years. We've gotten this wrong.
Maybe when tough times come, you're like, Dad's got to go.
Yeah, I wonder if
that's
that's
time.
just. I wonder if just like maybe
instinctually,
Yeah,
evolutionary
yeah.
reasons, you're like, he's dead. Believe him.
So I was still watching where we were at, but they come up, and all that's left is like calm seas and just gray skies. No rain, no 5 or 6 foot waves that came in, just flat ocean. The second story.
it's crazy that is what would happen, right? They'd get to the surface and then be like,
and then you tell your dad what happened. He's like, don't look fine to me.
you're soft, boy.
One time we were diving West Palm again and diving a wreck called the Princess Anne. It used to be a ferry that would go across the Chesapeake Bay. My grandfather used to ride on it, actually. But we go down, I think it's 100 to the bottom there, but the current was ripping this day, and we didn't have enough line, apparently, because our dive flag ended up, 10, 20 feet underwater, enough to where the guy captaining my dad's boat lost us, and he was an inexperienced boater, and we came up to the surface to no boat, and we were adrift for hours.
Open water.
Someone found us, would not let us on their boat. They just drifted with us, and fortunately, the guy was smart enough to at least be listening to the radio, and
I like the idea of not letting them on the boat for fear that they're gonna overpower
That's
you.
me, bro. That's
they're
me all
pirates.
day.
Yeah, I could totally
You're
see
not
that.
getting on this boat. I'll call for
Yeah.
someone to come get you.
So let's say Sam pulls up on her friend Jessica's boat and you and I are diving. They ain't letting us on that
No.
boat. They're
Hold
gonna
on.
make us float all the way to the beach.
Wasn't this guy a kid at the time? It was like a guy with his kids. Who's the a-hole that doesn't let the guy with his kids on the boat?
Well, they're just scared, man.
People use their
able to-
kids all the time to create crimes. I'm
Yeah.
not letting your kid on my
They're
boat.
scuba diving. It's not like they're some sort of
It's all a
Somalian
ruse.
pirates.
Well, this is where we're at now.
You know,
People are very
like,
untrusting. They think that the kid's in on it.
Oh, yeah.
when there's a skinny guy with an AK and a John boat in the middle of the ocean, don't let him on the boat.
Also, kids are the scariest part of horror movies.
Norm brings up an excellent point. I wonder if, let's say Sam and Captain Jess, Captain Grifton Jess decided
She'd let him on.
to not let us on. Jess would.
Yeah,
she
but
would.
Samantha,
She'd let anybody on.
Samantha's bigger. She beat up Jess. I don't know how that fight would work. That'd be a good fight, actually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, so you got excited. So then at the end of the fight, they're not going to let us on, but then we go back later, we press charges on Sam. Maritime law suggests that you have to help us in a time of need. You have to let us on your vessel.
Yeah. Who?
I'll call the Coast Guard.
Yeah, well, the Coast Guard, we wait there, the Coast Guard comes up, and I'm going to have you brought up on charges. You're treating us incorrectly.
It's not my fault you got lost out at sea.
Who enforces maritime law? Like, I feel like
Mary. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I feel like no one, like, they say that a lot. I'm like, but who enforces that? Like, no one enforces it.
Yeah, it's like the FCC. It's like with robocalls and cursing on the radio. Like, nobody knows.
Yeah, but you can't do this. Why? Like,
The International Maritime Organization is responsible for the security of all international shipping.
Well, who
they
is
enforce
that?
that ships follow the safety procedures set by the International Convention of the Safety of Life at Sea.
So, but
I almost screamed that's some BS,
now,
but the real words.
When we did have an altercation on one of the cruises that we went on, not a Tom and Dan cruise, but another cruise,
The FBI,
the FBI got involved because I had to talk to the FBI.
So I think that's ultimately who handles it because it's like international.
He had a gun,
But that's international.
He had a gun on him, but he was a nerd.
Well, that's what
Most FBI agents are.
They're nerds.
Yeah.
This guy's I mean, he had but he had a big oversized gun, as if to say, like, hey, I'm not a nerd.
I can tell.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. But I was like, I don't even think your arms can carry that. What is that? A Desert Eagle? You don't put that on your hip.
Yeah. And what scenario are you going to use this gigantic Desert
Eagle? It's a pistol,
Eagle?
and the barrel is down to your ankle.
The Joker gun.
I do remember telling my wife, I was like, that's a ginormous sidearm that man has. It's huge. It's like it was off-puttingly large, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like
trying to prove a point.
Kind of like a ginormous truck with a sticker that says "Cowboy Butts Drive Me Nuts."
Or a Punisher sticker.
Yes, Punisher's classic.
Are you allowed to buy? I think we've asked this. Are you allowed to buy your own gun and use your own gun, or it has to be? They probably give you a list of ones that are approved.
Easily approved guns.
I think it has to be issued by the department that you work for.
But this one, because they have.
There you go, Jerry. Gold-plated Desert Eagle. Wow, I hit the lottery.
Yeah, because normally it's the standard.
Maybe they give you a set of options, and then he went for the big boy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do they give you it? Like, because
no, I want a little. I want a little one that's strapped to my wrist, like in a card game, or that like a dainty debutante woman would have had back in the Wild West. I want a little Derringer.
Yeah.
You know, I want a tiny little concealed gun that I can keep under my frilly shirts.
And it comes out like the slinky that the kid from Goonies wears
Well,
under his jacket, whatever that is.
Yeah, I want to open my jacket and have a novelty hand on a
By the way, those kids' inventions were stupid.
They were stupid.
One of them was that he had oil slick in the back of his shoes.
Yeah.
But to activate it, he had to pull two strings that went around his
hoodie.
back.
Yeah.
And it went.
Do you put the oil in your hoodie?
It went down his legs, and then literally two strings opened up two flaps. That's stupid. And then the dad.
I like that you're just ripping on a movie from 1986.
Okay, the kid, I give a pass because he's a kid. He's 8 years old. He's an idiot. The dad opened his trench coat, and then the damn the slinky the thing comes out, and a old camera pops out of his chest, and then it's just so it can easily he can hold it. It's stupid. It's like there's no real practical reason to even invent that. It doesn't even help you.
I agree.
Anyway.
You're talking about all the Asian kids in 80s movies being the inventor, right?
Well, the dad from Goonies, and there's like, this is my dad's best invention.
Right.
I understand it was supposed to be.
Dads invented things in old movies. Like, who's a better inventor, Goonies' dad or Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Rick.
Is there any?
But he made a lot of mistakes.
He did.
But he built a GD shrink.
He built a goddamn. He brought. I mean, literally a laser that could take down countries.
Yeah.
You know,
like a military grade laser weapon.
Yeah. And then he shot his kids. They fall in love with an ant. You know? Then they die. Then I'm crying. They're crying. You know what I mean?
No, there's an ant.
And F you, Rick, for shrinking the ant and making me give a damn about the ant. My daughter got
shrink the kids.
My dad got an ant farm. Or my daughter got an ant farm.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, ginormous ant farm.
That's nerd.
It's huge.
People want to know, Tom, what you think of Inspector Gadget.
Hey, guess what happened? Andrea dropped the ant farm.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that on Friday.
I don't like Inspector Gadget, not because of his inventions, but because he's French.
He's not French, is he?
I don't know. I think it's
No, he's not friends.
I don't know that
You're
he's
thinking
ever been
Inspector
French.
Clouseau.
Oh God!
You're thinking the Pink
You're thinking of
Panther.
Pink Panther?
Who's
Oh,
old
okay.
now? This is an old man.
Wow.
Inspector Gadget, 80s and 90s.
Oh,
Clouseau,
yes,
60s
I
and
don't know.
70s.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. Anyway, but it was all just in the shoes. all
It's got to be the shoes.
all your inventions are all in the shoes that are stupid. It's like, all right, the roller skates, the rockets, the everything
Well,
in the
like,
shoes.
remember the video game Spy Hunter?
and the shoes and hat. That's
Yeah.
all you got.
Well, the hat had a helicopter in it. How did you do that?
All right,
pretty great.
Yeah.
You know, the top of his hat would open, a helicopter comes out, then handles come out.
Yeah.
And he holds the handles. He's like, takes
Steering,
off.
yeah.
That was dope.
He would not be able to. That guy's frame. His arms.
Oh,
he'd
rip his
fall-
arms right off.
No, he'd fall off after. I mean, you know how hard it is to hold your body weight like that.
Well, his
There's
arms
no way he can do
his
it.
arms are robotic. Remember, they come
He's
out.
built like John Bustecker.
oh, yeah,
he's
he's a
tall
robot,
and lanky.
right?
I think
Okay.
he's bionic.
So that's
And is
a-
Penny his daughter?
I think it's like his niece.
Can you
right?
Google this before?
Yes.
Do we have to get out of here? What am I doing?
No,
no,
it's
we're
fine.
good.
So, but yeah, he was part.
It's
like,
his niece?
Android.
See, I'm more concerned about how the family fell apart. Because why is Penny living with her uncle?
Who is a robot?
Yeah, is her
Half
dad
man,
an
half-
alcoholic robot version? Like, because they'd be similar, right? Then Inspector Gadget
And was his,
has a brother
He
named...
is a cyborg police inspector.
Okay.
Let's see.
how much of his body was cyborg? Like, was his torso all human and just his,
His
limbs?
legs, his limbs were
It is his niece. Penny's his niece.
weird. I want to know what happened to his brother.
And the dog's name is Brain.
Brain. I remember Brain. There's Inspector Gadget. What's his brother? Billy Gadget? And he's just a drunk?
Oh, his brother was another inventor because they were a inventor duo. Like like
Oh, you're writing the backstory. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
And
All right.
then they invented something that killed the brother by accident.
Oh, and then he adopted Penny.
Inspector Gadget felt bad, and then it killed the mom too. I forgot
Yeah.
it because they both had.
Well, he's dumb. Inspector Gadget's like an idiot.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
The
So-
whole point is that he bumbles through and then Penny solves the crimes for him and then he takes all the credit, right?
Yeah. He's
and
a
then
bad
there's
person.
Dr. Claw. You never see
Dr.
him.
Claw, yeah.
But he's got the cat. He's got the cat that and he's next time,
Yeah,
Gadget.
yeah.
Next time.
Those
Those cartoons kind of suck.
yeah, they all sucked. If I showed my sons that, they'd be like, "This is garbage."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they
You
do.
think so?
Well,
Yeah.
he was...
Or
Although
the
he-
Matthew Broderick movie?
He liked Pink Panther. But when
Oh,
he
that's
was younger.
right. You did say he liked
He got obsessed with Pink Panther, smoking cigars.
Well, he's a real man.
I liked it. I was like, why do you? If there's like, I couldn't even watch it. It's like he liked the stuff that it's either Pink Panther or some kid playing Minecraft. And like, he's doing it to f with people because I'm like, this
Maybe.
is garbage.
Maybe.
The good current day cartoons, which are fine to watch, he's not interested. in.
Maisie watches Jessie. It's like a Disney show. She's all live action stuff now.
Oh, it's the live
She's watching
action.
like sitcoms.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Jessie. It's like these kids on madcap adventures.
Yeah. Sure.
Wisecracking teens.
Girls are more mature.
Yeah.
She's already like over all the
Yeah.
animated stuff. she hates.
She likes some of it, but she's like really
Yeah.
into what's the movie with the red? They wear the red outfits. Handmaids.
She's watching.
Really into Handmaids. No, but she is into like it's funny. She likes to watch the older girls and like the fashiony stuff.
Yeah.
Fell into that.
Oh, buddy, it's coming.
I know.
It's gonna.
Let's try this one right here.
Hey guys, you're often talking lately about doing too much, and you guys want to scale it back, and you played a voicemail where the gentleman was saying he thought you should scale some back. I just wanted to add my 2 cents. I think the longer the shows, the better. I think the more shows, the better. I know that's not optimal for you, I'm sure, but I did just want to leave this message and officially threaten you with a lawsuit if you pull back any on your shows. There you are. Motowit on my side, I hope. Have a good day.
We get it. We got the emails. People didn't want us to pull back, and really, we were talking more about possibly not doing less content, but moving the content around to diversify the content a little more.
Like we're going to make all the ACT shows the Friday Free shows. And then Friday Free shows will now be edited and cut into small 20-minute segments and spread across the Monday through Friday ACTs. And all OG shows will now be BDM shows.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
BDM shows will now be NFTs that you have to bid on. Then once you acquire one, you'll have to get the code from me, and then you'll be able to download it.
We heard you. We're not going to scale back.
No.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Keep going?
Yeah. Let's do one more.
One more. All right. Let's try this one right here.
Tom, Dan, Sam, and Butler. It's Canadian Josh. Thomas Chisholm Van, you take Adderall. If you haven't already done so, watch the Netflix documentary, Take Your Pills. I'm worried about you, buddy. You've got problems. You need to deal with them. I'll hang up and listen. Love you guys. BDM for life.
He doesn't even
Just
say
tell
anything.
us, Josh. Just tell us what it says.
He just plants that bomb and then pieces out.
Yeah, what's wrong with Tom?
Yeah,
I mean, I know a lot of things, but
watch this documentary to make you feel like
like you're gonna die.
About,
Make you feel crazy. There's a whole documentary, Dan, about people that can fly without being scared. Watch that and feel how inferior you are, you idiot.
It's about how pharmaceutical companies give us drugs to make us addicted to them, so we keep paying. I know, Josh. Like, what,
Yeah,
you
we
think I'm
knew
an
that
idiot?
already.
Like, I know what this is. Like, I'm legally going to a doctor, just like I get all my drugs, and I'm going through the process. I pay my monies, and then they give me the drugs that I want. Is that what the documentary's about? I know.
Yeah, we know.
I think so.
Like, I'm getting a little bit of meth, like a microdose meth. That's what I'm doing.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. And so, I asked my doctor, I'm like, this bad? He said, nope, not bad. I'm like,
That's
"All
fine,
right."
just a little bit.
He's a doctor. It's
He's like,
fine.
you take a little bit, you're fine. Don't take too much. Oh, no.
This is
One day.
my voicemail of the week.
What's going on, dudes? It's Big Rick. So, Tom, I got to say, man, you are in the most hippest and most right part of town, man, because you guys are really stepping it up over there in Castleberry. I'm on the corner of 436 and Howell Branch, and just chef's kiss amazing. You guys have your latest addition to the area, which is a guy in the center median where the turning lane is, that is a magician slash puppeteer slash clown with full-on clown makeup on, and man, you guys are one step closer to flying cars and virtual massages. Just amazing.
We got to find
I
the
can't-
magician clown.
Also, I can't wait to find out where Big Rick lives. Someone in the chat room knows. Just tell me where he lives, and
Are you going to get him, bro?
I'll tell you what's wrong with where he
All right,
lives.
I
I'll
like that.
tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I like that.
I guarantee you it's not Windermere.
I like the I like the idea of a new segment you'll start doing called "I'll Tell You."
yeah.
Welcome back to Tom Van's "I'll Tell You."
You know, it's weird. I have been seeing uptick. I saw it this weekend of a guy playing electric violin
Yeah.
in the Publix parking lot. And I was like, that's
It's called Craft OnlyFans. It's like they don't want to be digital; they want to be still like almost analog. So they bring it to you live via the sidewalk.
And so this magician, I'm assuming Rick is saying he's like somehow like panhandling or performing for money.
Yeah.
Like a street performer.
Or like a busker, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, like a street performer or whatever. But it is odd. It's like, why do it there? Why not be in downtown or someplace that...
Oversaturated downtown.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't
There's
see
a lot of them down there.
Also, there's a lot. I haven't seen too many street performers as much. Like in New Orleans, when I went there was the drummer guy. There was like, and in Key West, there's like the cat performer.
There's tons in Boulder, Colorado, too.
gymnasts.
The
Like-
one in Key West was the one that I liked. Was the guy that had the glass box he would squeeze his
Yeah,
skinny
yeah,
body
yeah,
into.
yeah. Those are fine, by the way.
Yeah,
too.
that
I was
I'm all
like,
for that.
you're-
My daughter's like, ew. I'm like giving him money. Yeah, this guy's great.
But that's like more for a city or like a party area, right? It's like
yeah,
you
you're
go,
having a
you
beer.
watch,
I'm watching a skinny guy squeeze himself into a glass box.
Weird to do as you're driving through 436 in Castleberry.
Well, it's hard for me to sit and appreciate the entire performance when I was doing 60 through the town, and all I saw was you squeezing your leg in there.
yeah.
Plus,
it's
get
weird.
a tight diaper when you do that. And make sure it's padded. I don't want to see your bell in when you're squished into the box. You know, like get a bunch of your diaper. They always wear a diaper.
Yeah. It's a Speedo.
Yeah, like, but sometimes it's a little loose.
yeah.
Don't wear a loose Speedo. There's nothing sadder than a loose Speedo.
Be like, I can see your crotch hair.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, I can see. It looks like you're wearing a leather bag for Dungeons and Dragons dice around you.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing that?
All right, bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. Let's get to it, buddy. You ready?
Nerds. Nerds. Nerds.
Jock, nerd, jock, nerd.
That was gross.
What? Why did you do that?
You farted to the phone? Yeah, I farted to my phone.
I'm trying to do it undercover.
You know what? Those people that hate you are right.
What?
Why would you crank the loudest wet fart during your intro?
That's a Baja Blast.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
You are gross.
And weren't you supposed to like do this bit on your lunch break and you're still at work? Are you
Leon Beach kicked him out.
That reminds me. Yeah. Oh yeah. I gotta clock out. Hey, Carlos, will you clock me out, please?
What kind of business
You're
are
not
you
allowed to do
running
that.
over there? Yeah, you can't have other people clock out for you, man.
Also,
It's fine.
I mean, do you have to go to a thing and
A computer.
Good night,
do the
Brack.
time clock.
Good night, Ralph.
okay.
Good night, Earl.
I feel like can't you just like here's your hour and then you have to physically type in the thing? I guess how the corporations do it, right? They you have to,
Yeah, it's on the computer.
I remember when Clear Channel used to make me fill out a timesheet. I would wait until it was payday, and then I would sign like 3 to 4 weekly timesheets and
Yeah.
run them down to traffic and give them to them,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Please pay me,"
I remember,
and they
when-
would.
Yeah.
That's how poorly it was run.
All right, AJ, what do you want to start with?
Well, let's start off since it's the Olympics time. Let's talk about the Olympic beds at the Olympic Village. You guys see those?
The cardboard beds.
Because I know everyone hates when I say, "Have you seen that?"
Yeah, no, I did. I saw those, and I didn't think that they were terrible. Like, they didn't, like, it looked like, yeah, it's like what you would get when you need to have beds for a bunch of people.
What are they like?
Well, they're also going to recycle them because they're made out of cardboard, and they were going to recycle them after the Olympics, so they're reusable.
or they're just
so-
like cots with cheap.
Well, the story I read
Frame
was
with a
that they
mattress?
were to deter sex, right?
Yeah, but the Irish guy was on TikTok, and he was like jumping on his bed like hard,
Yeah.
and it was still holding up. So it's like you can still do it because the weight limit on the bed is like 440 pounds. So like if you're in good shape, you're probably a lot less than that. So as long as both people are under 200 pounds,
Because
you
these
can do whatever
Olympic
you want.
villages are notorious for being just like,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
there's
it's
Orgy City,
Yeah,
yeah.
Orgy City.
it's full of 19-year-olds that are fit as hell. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're the best bodies in the
all
world.
the mounds.
Hey,
All the mounds.
and high
I mean,
testosterone.
It is Muscle Pete
Yeah.
Ville.
So of course you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
You're gonna bang crazy.
And all the supplements and all the different things that these guys are on, they're all running hot.
Also, I remember when I was 19, nothing will stop me if, like, on the floor, the grass, like mud,
Yeah.
I will do it anywhere.
A tarp
Yeah.
in the back of a
The
truck.
side of the house.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Cardboard box would be an upgrade for
So
some people.
this was inevitable because through social media, everything gets exposed. So anything that's and they're doing it to save cost, and it's good that they're recycling it. At least that's something. Although you think they probably could just donate them to the insane poverty that is around, you know what I'm saying? Like, just make the beds and then donate them to people that need them, not make the beds so that they could just biodegrade in a landfill.
Well, I mean, it's a
Do you want
cardboard box.
an Olympic orgy bed after the fact, though?
I would, yeah. I mean, if I
Well,
were
if it's
homeless,
all you have.
yeah. If it's all that you're giving me, the thing I'd be concerned about if I were homeless is keeping the integrity of a cardboard box in the elements.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
hard to keep it together if it's raining outside.
Yeah, is it something I can fold up and carry with me? I don't think so, right?
It looks like it's pretty. Have you seen the pictures? It looks like it's pretty solid, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't look like something that you could just like carry
No,
around,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it's not
No,
portable.
it's not.
so-
It's not portable. No.
This is going to happen with the food. Like, look at they're serving us.
The
Like,
sandwich is terrible.
look at what we're serving our
Well, they
Olympians.
you hear the bad stories. Like they one of the para Olympic athletes was blind and deaf, and they told her that she had to walk through Japan alone. She's like, no, I'm going home.
Why did they tell her that? That sounds like a half of a story. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait.
But
Based
that's
on, hold
what
on,
I
pause.
read.
Just stop.
Walk alone.
Just stop.
Story.
Just stop. It
Yeah, yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like you told me, as our sports news guy,
Yeah.
that a para-Olympian got off the plane and wheeled up, deaf and blind. Well, I'm imagining in a wheelchair as well, or with some sort of a cane or something to assist.
Yeah.
A dog. Something, and they're like, you have to walk through alone. Like, you're selling it like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a sinister, horrible.
Well, they were giving her a chaperone. Like, that was the problem. They
that's
most of the athletes in the Olympics, you get a chaperone to make sure that you can traverse the area no problem. Don't go into the bad sides of town. And they weren't going to give a deaf and blind lady a chaperone.
Well, there wasn't a chaperone to be given, so because they're trying to
I
cut
know.
they're
It's
trying to
kinda
cut
sucks,
corners.
though.
Yeah. It's like they cut costs. They don't have the money for a chaperone. That's what happens. But but Daniel's right. The story's not like walk alone. It's like
You deserve a sinister walk.
This road.
the story is they botched it and they don't have enough money, and now it's kind of crappy. Because
But that's not a good story. That's not a good story
It's
because
crappy.
everybody would be like, oh, okay.
And
There's no outrage on that one.
And I'm pretty sure the Olympians that travel to these things know it. They know it's kind of crappy, and they cut corners. It's just like every corporation. Like they're not fully funded. And there's a lot of countries that have a little funding, and then other countries that have the most. And it's all different.
I always like that our athletes, no matter what it is, come out dressed as if they're old 1940s airline pilots. They have like an Applejack hat on, a scarf. We always go with some sort of weird, like, this is America. We have them out there in jodhpurs and tiny little socks with a
It's all Tommy
Yeah,
Hilfiger.
they hire
right?
some fashion designer that's crazy.
Well,
yeah.
it's usually like Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger. It's usually an American designer but they usually dress us like we're like, get your papers, get your papers. It's terrible.
All right, EJ, next story.
Next story. Okay. So the Tampa Bay Lightning just won the NHL championship, but next year they're adding a new team to the NHL, the Seattle Krakens. And one of my favorite things to see is an expansion draft because it shows what teams really love the players they have and which ones they're willing to let go. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, when they're protecting
like,
players? Yeah,
protecting players. Like the Vegas team, they can't pick anyone from Vegas because they're a new team because they just entered the league in like 2017. But
Right.
everyone else has to protect I think it's like 7 players and a goalie is who they can protect.
But
everyone else is up for grabs.
But
for this team.
sometimes Tom and I got to play with that a little bit. Like when we were working for MLS, we got to experience and actually go to a draft. And it was interesting to see the psychology behind that isn't always that they're sometimes they'll even lean towards the honor system in that they have a player that's so high profile that they know no one will take them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like they don't protect their major player because like who in the hell would you're not going to do that. That's against the code of the game maybe.
Yeah, and there's also like salary cap, and like it's pretty interesting how they do it. Although I know that the Vegas team they did it right because
They're good.
The first year didn't they make
They went to the finals.
The finals are released almost to the
They went
finals?
to the Western Conference Finals last year and the finals the year before. Yeah.
The finals the year before. I think it was their inaugural year.
And I remember it being a big deal because no other expansion team had made it to the finals their first year. And I'm sure a lot of teams are going to look at what they did and the players they took because I think they went a different route and then took a solid base of like workhorse players,
Yeah, like journeyman guys.
And then
You're right.
from each team and it worked out well for them. So it's not always just
that's the other people that are protected. Like first and second year players are also protected on each team. So you can't take like a rookie or a person in their second year. That was the other people that are protected on your team.
Yeah, it's interesting when they do the expansion draft. And do you know if they're done with teams now, or they got the number, or are they going to add another one in the next?
I think they're looking at other teams also, but I don't know. But the funny thing is they're picking people that are like going to announce their picks and like name a Seattle celebrity from a sports team that you think should be on the list, and they're probably on that list. It's kind of crazy.
Like, Drew Carey's probably on there, right?
No, Drew Carey's from Ohio.
Well, I mean, because he owns the Seattle Sounders, right?
He owns part of the Seattle
Sounders. Sorry.
I can't say it either, my God.
So I just assume
he
that
is part owner of the Seattle Sounders.
I just assume that he's big in Seattle, even though he's not from there. Like, he owns part of the MLS soccer team. Like, I thought he would probably be big into like sports.
I mean, like, you mean like I don't know, Eddie Vedder? Is he on there?
Athletes. Talk about like athletes. They picked.
Oh,
like,
they're Russell,
people from the franchises in that area.
Russell
Russell
Wilson.
Russell Wilson's not, but Marshawn Lynch is one of the picks. So he's gonna go up there and like I'm up here so I don't get fined. But here's the pick for the Krakens.
Well, that's something that he chose to do. It's not like he has to do any of this anymore. He's retired.
It's cool. It's cool that he does that though. So why not?
Yeah, but they're getting like Gary Payton and like Sean Kemp, and there's someone from the Sounders, I can't remember his name, and then one from the Seattle female basketball team is one of the picks. So that's the kind of interesting. They're getting like celebrities from Seattle are doing the picks for this team, which is kind of cool.
I don't like that Marshawn Lynch is doing this because I want him to be grumpy, do nothing.
Well,
because that's what because he didn't want to talk to the media back then.
Didn't he retire didn't he go to the Raiders?
No,
he went to the Raiders. Yeah, he was on Vegas for a little bit.
Yeah, he was on Vegas for like a hot second, and then I kind of lost track of what was happening.
Well, he's retired now, right?
Yeah. He's done. Yeah.
Anyway, next story, EJ.
Okay. Next story, we're gonna talk about the NBA Finals. Game. What is it? 6 is tonight.
Yeah.
So it's the Suns versus the Bucks. The Bucks are up 3-2. So it's been a really fun series. At first, it was the Suns were up 2-0, and then 3 games straight, the Bucks come back and take the lead and have an elimination game tonight.
I completely forgot that the finals are going on. Oh man,
they spaced out the games too much. It seems like this year, right?
I knew it was happening, and then I went like my kid went to her grandma's house, and then I partied, and I literally fell into a news hole.
This is why sports are the greatest, because they never end up the way that your fantasy is, and all the Phoenix Suns fans were screaming Suns in 4.
Oh yeah,
Suns in 4.
The punchy drunk guy said it, so now I'm gonna say it. We're gonna adopt it, and then the Suns in 4. They're screaming it. They're like and then when they're up by 2, they're screaming. Everybody's going crazy, and then I'm like, man, I missed out on a great gambling opportunity because I bet people were like, "Oh, it's happening! It's gonna be like, like the guy was right. This is gonna be perfect." And then they're over.
I have a problem with that guy because he's on Cameo, and you can get I think that's odd, right? I think it's odd that we are now paying a man that beat another man up. It's almost like
2 men.
It's like rewarding him, right? Like, I'm not saying that. I don't know if it was self-defense. I don't know the full story.
He's internet famous,
but it looks like something I wouldn't want to be famous for. Like it look like, and this guy's on Cameo, and he's like, "Hey, it's the Suns in 4 guy. You know, I beat those 2 guys up. I want to wish you a happy birthday." I think that's weird.
Who wants that? Who wants that for their birthday?
I mean, there's a lot of people buying it. For $75, I think you can make it happen.
So weird to me.
I just think
I
it's
want
weird.
Tom to get it for me for my birthday.
I'm surprised Cameo. I'm surprised Cameo was like, "Oh yeah, we gotta put this guy on here."
I don't think they care as long as they get their cut.
I mean, isn't that not a? That's kind of like, did that guy ever get talked to by like the police for like just punching a person at an event?
The guy came after him, and then he started punching him crazy.
So it's self-defense.
All
right, that's fair, I guess, but it's still weird. I think
self-defense and the fact that he was holding the guy's T-shirt and uppercutting him 10 times.
Right, like it didn't need to happen.
Too much.
But right, it's excessive, and now we're glorifying it on Cameo, and then we wonder why our kids are all messed up.
The other guy did come at him aggressively and was a horrible fighter. And he punched him 12 times
I like
straight.
His heart. He should go on Cameo as like, "Look, I'm the guy that got beat up. I'm the guy with all the heart. I tried to sucker punch him as I was walking away, and that's got a little bit of shady pussy heart."
I don't care about any team, but how funny would it be if the Bucks win in 4 games, or what? Like they have Bucks in 4 because
they won 4 straight. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean it's what is it 3-2 now? If they win tonight, it's done.
Yeah, it's done.
And the Bucks won with 4 wins.
Will that guy stay on Cameo?
No, it'd be done.
No, I think you stay on.
He will, but nobody will. All the Phoenix Suns guys that paid him to scream Suns in 4, and then they send it to their friends.
Yeah,
like,
it's
meaningless.
It kills his legacy.
Mad. And I know some Phoenix Suns fans that have shut up now, like because they were so loud when they were up by 2.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, "Oh, it's happening!" And then they're like, "Okay, we lost 1, nobody." And they're like, "Oh," and then it started just sliding. And now that they're down a game, they have shut up.
What if he stays on Cameo and then delivers bad news to people? Like says, like, "Hey, you're. I just want to send this message to you. No one can be wrong about things as much as I am, except for you."
As soon
You should be this guy's manager.
I'm just trying
if
to
the
spin
Bucks
it.
if the Bucks win the finals, this guy will never exist.
Look,
again.
I'm not saying
he will never be a celebrity again. It'll be done forever.
I mean, look, EJ, I'm not for or against this guy. I'm certainly not against somebody having hustle and somebody trying to make a buck. But I do think it's odd that we have a man who's famous for punching another man in a fight. It was like literally something that people used to be back in 2018. You got arrested for that kind of stuff. But post quarantine, I guess it's totally fine to go out. You act the fool, and then you get on Cameo.
People have always been glorifying terrible people.
But then you
go
on Cameo, and you're like, "Hey, if you want a special birthday wish from," I just think it's weird, man. I just think it's weird.
Well,
it's certainly not good. It's not a good thing.
It's society, and if
it's not good,
this is what we've created.
If this was a Dolphins fan and some Dolphins fan punch it, and then the Dolphins win the Super Bowl and they made the Super Bowl Cameo, I'm not paying because I'm an idiot. And everybody I know is an idiot, and nobody's
take offense to that.
Not you guys, but like my friends and everybody I know.
Yeah.
So now we know you're not your friends.
And
that's fair because, like, honestly,
that is fair.
I can't in one breath say that. Oh, this is weird. I hate this guy. Oh, I'm Daniel. And then the other hand go, oh, I love Bad Baby, the rapper Catch Me Outside, because I do love her. I think she's awesome. And I also like that little thuggy white girl. Remember that her mom was a realtor?
Vicky, what's her name?
Her mom was a realtor, and she'd go to the houses and pose in front of the houses, and she'd just toss up a story. Oh, I love that kid.
We love trashy train wrecks.
We do love it trash. Keep it trashy.
Anyway, next.
Well, since we're going for one bad story, let's go to another one. Did you see the shooting that happened at the Nationals versus Padres game in San Diego?
No, in the stadium.
It was a scary moment.
It was really scary.
It was outside the stadium, but people were starting to run out of the stadium towards where the shooting was happening.
Yeah.
And they were bringing people into the dugouts. Like Tatis grabbed a kid and brought him into safety to the dugout because that was the safest spot.
I was like
you hear the gunshots on the broadcast.
Yeah, I was half
it's scary.
Half out. It is scary. My wife showed me the footage, and I was like, I don't need to see that. Yeah, the whole grabbing the kid thing, that was it was very, very very scary.
Well, we live in a society now where if you hear gunshots,
the gunshot guy is on Cameo now.
My God.
But you hear gunshots, and the first thing your mind goes to is this an active shooter situation,
right,
and someone's just randomly shooting people, and I got to run for my GD life.
Everybody thinks that. No, there was a restaurant here in town yesterday that just had some chemical fumes that were being released from the kitchen, and everybody in the restaurant, the first thing they thought, they interviewed some guy, he's like, I thought it was a terrorist attack, and everybody's just running out.
Yeah.
Like, we're being gassed.
And you can't even blame people because things like this happen, and just guess what? I hear gunshots. I'm with my sons. I'm running into the dugout. You know what I'm saying? You're running for your life. It's like it used to be where are those coming from? And now it's just you have to run.
It was a player that grabbed the kid?
Yeah, Tatis, he's like an all-star that plays shortstop for the Padres. Well, he just he heard the gunshots and
that's pretty awesome.
Thought it was an active shooter.
Yeah, that guy
just grabbed the kid from the front row.
That's awesome.
And come with us, come to the dugout. Yeah. It was
Good
I was
move.
Proud of him because he did the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't know anymore, man.
Surprised it doesn't happen more because have you ever seen where they build stadiums? So they need land cheap. So it's rough.
They're like, this'll do.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what else you got?
That's all I have for sports. Should we move over to nerd stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. Nerd it up.
Is that okay with you? Okay.
Yeah.
What if we said no?
With? Okay. Did you guys watch? I don't know. I'd give up.
Power through, EJ.
Did you watch Space Jam over the weekend?
No.
The new one with LeBron.
No, but
don't save your time. It is so bad.
I saw there's a LeBron toy that I want where he's like a little. He's the Toon LeBron.
Okay.
And he shoots a ping pong ball into a little net, and then the other thing, you shoot him.
Oh, you can get it's like McDonald's.
Yeah, and you shoot him, and he holds the ball, and he slammed on, and I'm like, I was there watching it high as hell. I was like, I want that. I was like, that looks fun as hell.
So EJ, you say it's horrible, but this is a kids movie,
it's
right?
for babies.
Did your kids like it?
No. Using it as a qualifier that it's a kids movie is not okay to say it's okay for it to be bad. Because there are kids movies that are good.
That's true.
But
there's
did your
movies that
kids
are bad.
enjoy it?
Don't use that as an excuse.
Listen, I know.
Sounds like they enjoyed it.
No, my
then.
son hated it.
Yeah, but were you
I need to
next
talk
to
to
him? Were you next to him the whole
My
time,
daughter
complaining,
indoctrinating him into
Yeah.
your ways? Because sometimes I've noticed that. Look, if I'm just being honest, there are times when I will sit with my daughter and we're watching something that I don't like, and I catch myself like doing the old elbow in her and be like, "Mommy likes this. We don't like this, do we? Stick with me. We're the, you know." Were you doing that?
No, well, I did hate
Mm.
on a couple things. Like, here's a spoiler for the movie. It's not a big deal. As soon as he shows up into the Toon World, he figures out how to fix himself when he gets flattened small. Like he instantly knows to fix himself, like blowing on his thumb to make himself.
Well,
big.
everybody knows that.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
for
that.
Roger
But
Rabbit.
it took
That's for
Jordan the whole
everything.
movie to figure out that would work.
Well, Jordan's an idiot.
Yeah, Jordan is known to be a bit dumb when it comes to reinflating
No,
himself.
he's not. He's a mess.
So
you guys saw Chungus is in this, right?
And,
Chungus.
yeah, Chungus
Yeah, there's a
is in
Chungus
it, and,
appearance.
Don Cheadle is in it, and he's fantastic in it. Like
Don
Cheadle
Cheadle
is the
plays
only
Chungus
positive part.
Pukamungus in this movie?
No,
They have a
Don
Bugs
Cheadle
Bunny
plays,
Chungus in the movie.
Algorithm, yeah. Al-E-G Rhythm.
So, and that's where the Chungus whole joke came from.
Ali
is-
G? Wait, that's the character
hold
before
on.
Borat. Was Ali
Don Cheadle plays an algorithm in the movie called Al-G Rhythm. And I feel bad for him because he had to deliver some of the worst lines, and it was definitely written by like LeBron's publicist, for sure.
Did your kid did he sit through it? Because that's my whole thing is like, that's how I gauge if a kid's movie a good.
He left and got the iPad and started.
Okay,
iPad,
fine.
come back, yeah.
If it keeps their attention, then then it's good. Even if I'm like, I don't even care if they liked it. It's like they sat and they shut up, they watched a movie.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That
No,
means
it's
I'm
not like
not-
Into the Spider-Verse.
I'm with you, Tom. I'm not the type of parent where if I put something on and my daughter comes back to me and goes like, "That was not good," I'm like, I don't care. You know, like seriously, like
Did
like,
you sit
I'm
there
not-
and shut up for
Nobody
an
says
hour?
that. Well, let me ask you a question. In
you leave
life,
me alone for 2
life,
hours?
has anybody ever come up to me and said, like, I walk into my mom and dad, I'm like, I just watched the Smurfs. It was not good. My dad could be like, go after yourself. You know, like,
Get
I'm
out of
not-
my room.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't care.
Yeah, don't care. I'm not here. Look, you have a lifetime to watch a bunch of other, and you're
That's
gonna
right.
watch a lot of dumb stuff. So just chalk that one up.
Most of it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
But if they wander off and
Yeah,
it
that's a
doesn't
bad
hold
sign.
their attention, then I'm mad at the movie because I'm like, you couldn't even make a movie.
Babysit my kid.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
that's what I wanted for
I
him.
know.
Yeah.
Just put some. You know who's got it down, and you can say what you want to about these creatures, but I'll tell you right now who's got it down, and they never fail. Trolls.
Nuts.
Trolls, they got it. The trolls, because they got different variations of trolls. They got the grumpy troll, they got the DJ troll, they got the main troll, the scared daddy troll.
What do you mean?
They got a little troll for everybody. There's trolls all, so everybody, and they're always singing and dancing the latest, sounds.
Baby Diamond.
Yeah, that's the DJ one, right?
Yeah, the one that, because there was a diamond. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
My kids love the trolls.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
They know what they're doing.
So did you have to buy that movie on Disney Plus or something?
No, it was on HBO.
Oh.
It was on HBO Max, so it was free.
Okay. Well, and like I look at it
I'd be
too,
mad
like,
if anyone pays for this movie. You're wasting your money if you pay for it.
I mean, you could say that the first one was a waste of money. My wife, I believe, hates it.
She doesn't like the first one?
I don't know. And even when I saw it, like at the time, I was just like, this is dumb.
I
kind of thought it was stupid. At the time, I remember thinking it was kind of stupid to have somebody as cool as
But
Michael
you probably
Jordan.
would have been how old when
Yeah.
that came out? Because I was like 10 when that movie came out.
Yeah,
and
when
it was good.
It came out in like
Well, how
92.
much-
96, I
Oh,
think.
90.
Oh,
Oh,
right?
96, I was like
96, you're a
16.
radio DJ.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God. 96, I was married for the first time.
I had the soundtrack for my Camaro on a CD.
Yeah,
I remember
1996.
Oh, wow.
listening to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, 96.
So you were 20.
Yeah, that's not. It was just
Of
like I
course you
remember when it
wouldn't
came
have
out. I was like, "This is killing your legacy, Jordan. What are you doing? You're the."
I was 16. I was really into basketball. I liked R. Kelly then.
Oh
not
no.
now. That's what this movie was missing: R. Kelly and Michael Jordan.
I remember the only thing I thought of when I looked at Michael Jordan on like the Dream Team, and I saw him next in the lineup next to Larry Bird. I wanted to be like, Mr. Jordan, is Larry Bird racist? Because he looks it.
Oh man.
No, I'm just saying, if you just go and look, when you look at him, you're like, that guy looks real. Like he could be a Kentucky high school principal. That's what he looks like.
Hey, and
Did you read the quote that he just said about the Dream Team, like Michael Jordan?
No.
Oh, he said that his favorite thing about going to the Olympics and being on the Dream Team is he learned everybody's weaknesses and he used it the next year in the NBA.
Oh, that makes him a wonderful person.
Yeah, let me hold on.
Lovely man.
I kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah.
I like it too, but I like
Everybody does, but now I don't think that's. I think he's now just playing into the fact
he's
that
leaning
he's like,
into the ego a little bit.
This
Oh
guy
yeah, he's doing the 30 for 30. Yeah.
is a competition lord, where he like only cares about competition. Like he's fueled by competition.
He's
I
not
think,
even competing now, but he's still trying to get in everyone's heads. Does that make sense?
But yeah, I think now you could say that, and then people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he did
He's
that."
still getting in their heads.
And the reality, he got invited to the Dream Team. He went on there, like he probably thought to himself at one point, like, "Oh, that guy's, I'm picking up what
I've
he's
seen that thing before.
Yeah. Like and then now he tells, he's like, he's a genius. He went. The only reason he was on the Dream Team is to get his competitors' flaws and put that in his crazy competition brain. And it's like, I bet he's just saying that now, and it makes him sound a lot cooler, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, for instance, I tell people that we planned leaving Clear Channel and all this stuff because it sounds better after.
It does
We
sound
don't know what
better.
the hell we were doing. It's just random accident. We were, what do we do?
Yeah.
Stay there, go. I don't know. And
I was like,
none of it was planned.
It was as random as somebody saying, I'm going to be in a movie with a Looney Tunes? Okay.
But it sounds good to say it's all planned like we're evil geniuses. Oh, no. Anyway.
You'd have to be
Next
a genius
story.
to be an evil genius.
Next story.
Next story. Well, let's talk about the She-Hulk. They just added another actress to the cast. The chick from Good Place, Jamil. Oh, let's get this right. Jamila Jamil is going to play Titania, which is really cool.
The Indian woman?
Indian lady, yeah, very tall.
She is a wonderful actress. Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, she's beautiful and she's
Well,
fantastic. They
she's
were
a-
showing her training video montage, and she looks pretty good.
Her, as far as I like, you know what? She's one of the actresses that I started watching in Good Place, and I never knew of her before. And then it's like one of those people where you're like, oh wow, you ever be watching something and you'll like see them and you're like, that person's a very good actor. Like she's a good actress.
Yeah.
Like she can be comedic, but at the same time, there's some like heavier roles that she did or periods in that particular show that she did an excellent job. I think that's good, man. And also new.
Yeah, I'm
talent.
excited about that show. Yeah.
I like it when
because
Go ahead.
Sorry. The girl from Orphan Black is going to play Jennifer Walters in it. So that'll be like the cast is fantastic. It looks like, and plus Eli Roth is going to be in it. No, Timothy Roth. Sorry, not
I was
Eli
like,
Roth.
Eli
Oh,
Roth.
my
That's
God.
a weird
No,
casting.
Not the Bear Jew. The Bear Jew's not going to be in this movie. Sorry.
Ed Roth, the old hot rod. He drew the old big-armed, hot rod.
No, they're
character.
bringing like Abomination, and they're also bringing Mark Ruffalo is going to play Hulk in it because I think that's how she's going to get her powers. Because in the comic books,
a bit
She-Hulk
old for
gets her
that,
powers
isn't
from Bruce Banner getting a transfusion because she got shot because she's a lawyer and she was going against like the mafia.
Now let's talk about She-Hulk because She-Hulk and Hulk both very problematic. Let's talk
Okay.
about clothing. Hulk's pants never rip off. She-Hulk's top would have to rip off.
Yeah. But
Let's
it doesn't,
cuss
right?
and discuss. It does not. It does
What-
not.
Okay.
What happens when
well,
She-Hulk-
Stan Lee said that he didn't want it because he established this. The reason
I
why Hulk's
don't
pants
want
doesn't
any
come off-
boobies. Excelsior! I'm a crazy old man.
No, he actually said he didn't want to have to draw every sketch like that Austin Powers bit at the end of the first movie where they're putting things in front of his genitalia.
Well, then just
or
draw the
breasts and stuff
genitalia
like
for
that.
Christ's sake, Stan.
You can't do that. The comic book code was really highly enforced.
The
back in those
comic
days.
book code Excelsior.
So, what was the explanation? Because
Jesus.
there's always some nerd explanation that is stupid. And
Well, usually it's
Their
unstable
planet does not have
molecules. It's
nipples
usually
because their mammals do not drink milk. They drink adamantium, which is found naturally within their brains.
See, I can make up this dumb crap, too.
yeah,
I can
yeah.
do this stuff in my sleep. That's why I get so mad at you nerds, because you think you're geniuses. It's just like what Tom was saying. You guys like to sit back and you're like, oh, yeah, they don't have nipples because their planet doesn't have nipples. And I'm like, that's not genius. That's fake. That's stupid.
So what's the
Usually the
reason?
answer is unstable molecules. Their clothes is made of that, so it's able to like adhere to their body shape, or like the Fantastic Four, theirs was definitely unstable molecules. Like when Human Torch goes on fire, it's able to handle that heat, and same thing with the Invisible Woman. It makes it so her clothes become invisible at the same time as she is invisible. So it kind of conforms to their powers.
No. So every
It's
I
magic.
gave you
It's
the answer.
magic.
Are you going to do Tom now? I'm going to give you the answer, and then you're going to say no.
No, but
and I
it's
just
like
gave you the right
it's
answer.
time
I like
for
this.
you comic book nerds to grow up and start showing some teas.
I gave you the answer. That's
You want
what
to break
wanted
the
to
box?
hear. I
You
gave
want
it
to
you.
break the box office? You get a muscle woman, like who's there's a girl that I follow on Instagram.
Was it like China when the porno
No,
was
for
She-Hulk?
science, and she's a muscle girl. And she's a bodybuilder, and yeah, I think you should do that. And if you don't want the top, then just smooth it over Marilyn Manson style. But at least use real. I just think it's stupid to say it's a cop out to say like, oh, their clothes grow with them. It's the comic code. I just think that's dumb.
So is there like a tattered
Tank top.
or top?
That's usually what happens.
Ah.
Yeah, when She-Hulk transforms, she has like a tattered tank top. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but the tank
Like a
top
sports
doesn't
bra.
Right.
it doesn't turn back into a perfect tank top. That's why it doesn't make any sense. So it rips.
Well,
so what
usually
does she
it's
pull that
loose
one
when-
off
when
at the
she
end of the
goes
day,
back to
put it
little,
in the
like-
trash, and get a new fresh tank top out?
Fresh tank every day, baby.
Who can afford that?
She's a lawyer. She can make that money.
She's on Cameo.
She's not a lawyer.
She is. Jennifer Walters is a lawyer in the comic book.
Terrible
version.
writing. Terrible stand.
What else we got, EJ?
Okay, Blade got a new director for the new Blade movie, the one with let's get this guy's name right. Mahershala. Oh God, Mahershala Ali is the guy that's playing Blade this year. He's also did the voice of the Prowler on the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Okay.
So
Yeah, he was also in Kingpin. He was Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage show.
Is this going to be a completely new movie, or is it going to be Blade
Yes,
5?
it's not going to be Blade 4. No, it's MCU's Blade. So they're starting off from the beginning. I don't know if they're going to do the whole Deacon Frost backstory again, or if they're going to say it's Dracula that created Blade. The scenario where his mother gets bit while she's pregnant with him, and then he gets born a half-breed. So
You know what I always
I don't know what
liked?
they're gonna do.
You know, it's a little dark, but you know what I always liked? If I'm gonna say something I don't like, it's only fair for me to weigh in with something I do like,
All
that
right.
nerds do. But it's a little dark. I've always been a fan of mama gets bit, right? While she's pregnant, but baby, the reason that Blade, this is just in my version, right? The reason Blade is so conflicted and had to learn to control his vampire powers is because he ripped his way out of his mom and killed her. And that's what was so sad and so pivotal in his brain that he had to learn, and he vowed from that day on to never use his powers for evil, to only use them for good. Right? And the mom's dead.
No,
It's so
wrong.
dark. He rips out of his mom.
No,
I've
in
never
the
seen
movie,
any of the Blade movies.
No, I made that up. I'm just saying that's
Oh.
good.
Like a
You-
good dark backstory.
Yeah, you got to start with the Blade ripped
Yeah.
out of his mom and killed her, and that's what that's when from that day on, he's like, I'll never harm
Is it-
another human again.
Because in the Wesley Snipes version, Whistler found him and he was eating people.
That's what
back
I'm
in the
saying.
day when
You
he was
gotta
a
make it dark.
teenager. Yeah.
So, is there a chance that, because we all saw the original except for Samantha, she hates
I'm
fun.
the only person.
Oh, I like you flipped it. on
I
that.
hate fun.
And
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I love the original Blade.
I do too.
The subsequent ones
Yeah.
that kind of got
Number
worse.
one is a
Yeah,
masterpiece.
yeah, number one's great.
What are
Number
the
two's not bad with Guillermo del Toro as
Hey,
director.
Not as good as
is
one.
the front door or front yard festival, is that done or what? Like, can we do a Tom and Dan present or Hot Tub and Mini Fridge present Blade movie night?
Oh yeah. They we could do anything.
Let's
there.
do
They told,
Blade.
They told us
Alright.
whatever you want.
You want to
As
watch
long
Blade?
as you open
Sure.
the movie with Blood Orgy.
Can't
well,
do
we're
that.
just gonna play.
Yeah, we're just gonna play the movie.
Like a real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll start a real blood orgy.
But is there a chance that this movie is even 80% as good as the original?
Ooh, I don't. It's part of the MCU, so I know it's going to be good, but I don't know if it's going to compare to nostalgia, though. That's the only problem, because you do really enjoy the first one, and you're going to compare it to it. So, but I don't know how they're going to. They're definitely going to put something in it to appease you. For
Is
that,
it?
for
It's
sure.
a reboot. It's not a sequel, right?
It's a reboot,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Because
It's
Blade
all new.
wasn't in the MCU in the original one. Because he was one of the first movies that Marvel came out with. It was like Howard the Duck, and then it was Blade.
Never saw that either.
So
Yeah,
they
that
went
was
from really
bad.
bad
It does
to
have duck
pretty
boobs in
good.
it, though.
Oh, they get boobs.
Yeah, they
I
get
still like
boobs.
the duck boobs.
She-Hulk, no boobs, duck boobs, totally appropriate for
Okay.
MCU.
I just think that there's no way, since like I kind of already answered the question in my mind, since we already know the story, it's hard because the original Blade, we were like introduced, a lot of us, except for if you didn't know the comic book, like I didn't know this.
I didn't know it was a comic book.
And then so you know the story.
I was a big fan of the Night Stalkers, so I knew it before I went to the movie. So I was really excited about it.
But the vampire story, whatever, and then so even it can't be as good because we already know the story, right? So it's like it's not gonna be like being introduced.
Well,
to
sometimes in these reboots they do change things, so it's like a slightly different story.
I'd like it if they did that. Because give me a new story. I'm totally okay with that. I don't need you to retell the Blade story that Wesley Snipes did. I enjoyed that one. That one's good.
So are they?
Give me a whole new story with this new guy that everybody in the chat room says is amazing.
He is
Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan
amazing.
Live.
But
so I will commit to an all new vampire story.
If the story is the mother was bit, he comes on, he's half vampire, half human. And then he vows to kill vampires, and he's got a secret lair with a guy that makes all his, it's all
Old
the
man
If that's-
weapons.
I was like, all right, there it is. Because I think that's the story. Like I know you could do that well, and they probably will, but it
That's
can't.
kind of like what we have. Like Tony, I guess, would be our whistler. And instead of like odd, like bombs and stabbing implements of destruction, he has time anxiety and long phone calls.
It's a frisbees and koozies and Chinese garbage.
Yeah, don't you have a getaway van or some sort of vehicle? Nope.
Yeah, just a bunch of koozies and other Chinese bric-a-brac.
Lapel pens.
All right, EJ. Well, keep going. What else we got? We might as well power
let's
through.
roll. Let's roll.
4 minutes.
Well, I didn't even get to. Okay, the last thing I have is they're setting up the Thunderbolts movie. It seems like with all these MCU movies and TV shows. Do you know who the Thunderbolts are? They're like the Dark Avengers.
So
No.
these are black. So these
No.
are like black people and brown people that are Avengers.
No, I don't think there's a single black or brown person
That's
in
good.
it, really.
Yeah. You missed
'Cause it's,
Daniel's joke.
'cause-
I got it. I got it. Me and your dad. We
No, 'cause it's
crossed
like-
our arms and said he's doing.
There
he's
it
doing
is.
it.
He's doing it.
So
Because like Zemo is in it, and like
BMO,
Jenna
there's
Ross
that.
might be
That's
in it.
that Americana band that comes in here with the mandolins.
so
And the U.S. agent and Yelena, who's from the new Black Widow movie. They're gathering people that are kind of anti-heroes or could be considered villains to join this group, and it's going to be like
Okay,
a
just stop. Just
government
stop.
group.
I want to ask you.
replace the
I want to
Avengers.
ask you a serious question. This is
Okay, let me
this
hear
is
it.
tiring out even the people that like Marvel Universe, right?
It's gotta be.
Right, isn't it? I mean, all
so
this,
much.
It's so much.
See-
Can't we all agree that you're not doing any of it well because you're doing too much of it?
you're pumping out a lot
It's
of
exactly
content.
what
I
you're.
think
you're
because-
putting the Tom and Dan model on Marvel, and it's look when you spread yourself thin, nothing you do is good.
yeah. So
Okay, the counterpoint to that is for such a long time there was nothing. I only could read comics. There was barely a TV show in the 90s with the X-Men and a little bit of Spider-Man, but there was nothing. Now we are getting the stuff we wanted for so long, and we're finally getting to it. And it's just taking a while to get to it. And the people that are not really into this are getting burnt out because they weren't like waiting for this like we were.
But I don't.
So
I
you
think the
like it,
majority.
that's
all
great.
of it.
But
EJ?
I think the majority of people.
Yes, give me as
Like, are
You didn't-
Sorry.
I don't.
You didn't finish your sentence.
No, I was gonna say I don't think most people. I don't know one person that.
It's just too much.
I don't know one person that watches all of it and likes it. In fact,
EJ,
the people that I know, most people that
I
I know
love
watch
all
bits
of
and
it,
pieces
so-
of it, and they're like, I don't know what they're doing. WandaVision, this stuff's crazy. I stopped at Black Panther. That's what most of my friends say.
But were they really into? But they were they really into nerd stuff when you had to like hide that you were a nerd back in the day, in like the early '90s and the late '80s.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I think
Most
maybe
of those guys weren't.
I think
they were
maybe
guys trying to hook up with girls all the time.
I think maybe the stories, though. You said we didn't have anything then. You said the stories. You had just comic books. I'm going to weigh in and say that I think the stories were better told then because it is all you had. You had to do a lot with a little. And now that you can do anything, I think the quality of a lot of the stuff we get out there, some of it's going to be great. Like Loki, I get mixed reactions. See, it depends on who you talk to. Most people that I've run into say, oh my God, you got to watch it. It's amazing. But then on the other side, I have recently got some people that are like, nah, they're just blowing it up because they're just getting what they
Yeah,
want.
it's money grab.
Yeah.
So EJ,
I would say Loki episodes 4 and 5 are probably the best thing that's on Disney Plus.
All right.
But episode 6, I would agree. They should have stopped at 5 and made that the cliffhanger instead of this cliffhanger they put it in episode 6.
Okay. That's fair.
In my opinion.
That's fair.
EJ, business wise, do you see that
Yes, sir.
the pendulum's going to swing back where they've determined that they put out so much that new generations of Marvel fans and stuff and like kids that are trying to get into this can't even absorb all the movies and
There's
information,
too much content to keep up with.
which it makes it.
It's become an avalanche of stuff that you can't catch up to.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that being a problem. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
I feel like it's there now for me. Like I don't feel like I can get into it.
I'm sort of your guy too because I am nerdy and I love this kind of stuff. But it's so big now, the mountain.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not even starting that.
Here's-
That's why Invincible works for me.
Here's proof that they have gotten to this problem because there is a Disney Plus show called Legends, which is just an edited together trailer of explaining all these different characters so that the kids can know
Like
who the
Cliff
hell they're
Notes,
watching.
yeah.
And it's
Oh,
like
man,
9 minutes
yeah.
of trailer.
I don't need a glossary. That's too
Right.
much.
That's
is,
when it's too much, right?
This is Wanda. This is Vision. This is like, all right.
Oh my
God.
God.
It's 17
this
different
is
characters.
Bucky. This is Falcon.
Yeah, this is who
Zemo.
Loki is. Yeah, so you're putting out a second set of shows just explaining the characters for your endless amount of content that you have. You've painted yourself into a corner where soon it's going to be such an avalanche. Imagine if you were 16 and you're like, I just found out for whatever reason about Marvel and this whole universe and you were like, I'm going to go back and consume as. You couldn't do it. How many hours
Oh, God.
and movies?
That's a full-time job.
Well, then you'd have to ask people where to start because you don't want to start with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, well,
Then you get yelled at.
There is something online that
Tobey Maguire's still good.
I saw something online where it's like this is the way that you would have to watch each movie in
The
chronological
map.
order.
Yeah, there's a map.
And I'm not joking. I mean, what was there on? Like 50 different movies?
Austin Rouse did it. Our buddy Austin.
38.
Yeah.
38?
He did it with his daughter. I think it took. I literally think it took them entire pandemic.
Yeah.
To do the entire map of watching them in the right order to understand everything, and even then, I don't think they understand everything.
Yeah.
I think this is highly specialized. I think the vast majority of people that say they consume all of this, like I know you do, EJ, but I think you're a very small percentage.
I'm an outlier. I'm an
people.
outlier. I know.
Yeah.
Well, hello. How many people are a nerd and a jock? So there you go.
Here, the thing is, they're not doing it because they're not making money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, you're right.
They're only doing it because it's seemingly like they're just printing money every movie that they come out with their show, and it's like, and as long as people keep consuming it, they're gonna keep doing it, right? I mean, this is a moneymaker for them.
Yes.
Okay.
All
That's it, right?
Yeah, we're done.
I'm sorry.
Also,
Were you
he
talking?
was over
Were you
it.
saying
I'm
something?
trying to have a conversation
EJ
with
was
you.
over
No,
it.
he's
He
got-
got bored.
No,
Yeah.
I'm watching.
No, I know Samantha's trying to wrap up.
No, you have internet lag today. I'm going to be
Yeah, you
honest
do,
with you.
yeah.
Your internet, I don't know what's going on at your
sorry.
office.
There's some
but-
kind of delay. Yeah.
You're on an internet delay today. I don't know
I'm
what
playing
happened
Pokemon
there.
Go at the same time. Sorry.
No.
Oh, turn that off.
So
You don't need to catch any more Pidgeys.
It was a good weekend. I did Pokemon Go Fest this weekend. It was fantastic. I had a really good time.
You know, I saw a commercial for that, and in the commercial, there's only like 16-year-old boys and girls with multicolored hair playing this game.
yeah,
Have you seen the commercial
thing in
for it?
Chicago with the huge egg that looks like a Colt?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Did you see the huge egg that they had in Chicago? Look up Pokemon Go Fest Chicago 2021. Big egg. You'll think it's a Colt. If you would love to have that like audience for sure.
No, I wouldn't. It's crazy people who don't buy ACs. Like, no, I don't want that. All right, EJ, plug your con.
Okay, definitely go to MyCon. Chris Fisher's definitely going to be there. He's going to come to the pandemic version of MyCon at the
Is this
Wyndham
a joke?
Resort and on International Drive, August 28th.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, he's,
Okay.
he's hiding secret messages.
I don't know what the hell you're talking
What
about.
is happening?
Are you and
We're
Chris?
done.
Are you and Chris dating, and that's the way you let him know to meet you at the park?
We'll see you next.
No, we were having an argument on Facebook, and I just wanted to throw out.
Don't use our show.
People
Don't
will
weaponize our show, sir.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
not
yeah.
weaponize our show.
Your fight, do your nerd fights on your own
Yeah,
time.
do what you said at the beginning. Tell the people to come to your office if you'll find them in the streets at Bet's Burger Bar.
Oh,
God.
Oh man, I got it.
Oh, that's worse
I
than my
got
burp at
it.
the
I can't taste. I freaked out because I'm drinking this water and it's not flavored water, and I taste like
You
all
thought it
there
was a
is.
bubbly?
Yeah, then I'm like, wait, it's not my bubbly.
All right, EJ, we'll see you next week.
All right, love you guys.
All right,
See you
I'm
next
not
week.
saying I love you this time.
Yeah.
You say it-
Bye-bye.